Welcome to the Undisputed podcast. I'm your host, Jenny Taft. This podcast is the full show from today's episode of Undisputed from start to finish. They've got a busy slate, so skip Shannon, let's get to it. Welcome to Undisputed. We are live from Los Angeles. I'm Jenny Taft here with Skip Bayless, Shannon Sharpe. Hey, guys.
You finally came over to the dark side today because you got on your cowboy colors because you are a closet cowboy fan. We all know that and accept that. It's okay.
Let me think about that for just a second.
Yep.
No. No.
Yep.
Never.
Look.
Those do look kind
That's like metallic
cowboy.
It
blue.
don't look like no
You know
cowboy
what? It
color.
looks good. It's the best look you've ever had on
No,
the
it's
show.
not. No,
You
it's
had
not.
to assume that was coming.
Yeah.
Call you out for the colors.
Yeah, I didn't know this topic was coming, though. I should have changed.
Yeah.
Came my hand a sweatshirt
Okay.
and changed back into my outfit.
You're wearing your true colors.
No.
Colors.
What's going on, Skip? How you doing today? Let's see if you still
Not
feel
so
the same.
good right now.
Let's see if you still think I'm well dressed after this first topic.
After this next one, we've got a lot to get to. We are going to talk about Aaron Donald. He hands down the best NFL player. And should the Patriots be treating Tom Brady better? But first, since these are the colors Shannon is sporting, we're going to start with Dak Prescott. A panel of NFL experts at ESPN rated the league's top 100 players for the upcoming season. There were 6 Cowboys that cracked the list, but Dak was not one of them. Dak was also left off the NFL Network's top 100 players list this offseason. So, Shannon, does this close the case after Dak misses another top 100 list?
There was no crime here. The NFL never opened the case. And your false claim of him being a top 100 player has been denied. For the third time, Mr. Bayless, how many times are you going to come before this court and bring this bogus claim that your quarterback is something spectacular?
Is it my turn?
No, it's not your turn. Nobody
asked
asked
me a
you
question.
I just want to know how many times you're going to do that. Skip, now, Clement. Now, this was ESPN. Bunch of guys over there, you know that place very, very well. And a bunch of those guys, coaches, guys worked in the front office. Top 50. Top 100. He ain't on it. Okay, Pro Football Focus had theirs. He ain't on it. NFL Network had their top 100. He ain't on it.
Yep.
Now, I told you what we're going to do is we're going to try to get a top 150 or 200. But you know what, Skip, I was just thinking. He is a top 50 Cowboy at this moment. I'm not so sure he made the top 50 Cowboys all time. But that's another subject for another day for you and I to debate.
Well, they have such a glorious past. You know, it's hard to make the top 50.
Skip, look, I don't really know what you want me to say, Skip. We keep going around and around with this. How many polls must come out before you need to abandon this race? You're trending at 0%. You can't win. It's an unwinnable race. But you keep going to bat. You keep bringing this. I'm sorry, Skip. I don't really know what else to. It hurts me to see you hurt because I see the angst and the anguish on your face every time. Yeah, you do. Every time we have this discussion that Dak didn't make another top 100. And on this list, they had 13 quarterbacks. Now, Patrick, my homeboy, was number 2.
Yeah, you were on that bandwagon before that draft,
Skip, whoa,
right?
whoa. That's unacceptable. That's unnecessary, Skip. We'll talk about that another day and time. Now, Cam cracked the top 100. He's at 94.
Oh, he cracked it barely.
Your guy didn't crack it.
Yep.
Now, how many lists do we need to put together before you realize your guy has yet to make the list? Now, we got 3 top 100, the top 50, and he can't get on any of them? What are you missing?
My turn?
No. The blindest man is the man that cannot see, Skip. The blindest man is the man that chooses not to see. You choose not to see the flaws in Dak Prescott game. You know what you do, Skip? Last year, he was 17th in QBR, which says he's middle of the road. A lot of these execs, when they talk about quarterbacks, they said Dak is the middle of the road guy. Now, you love QBR until it doesn't support your argument on Dak Prescott. Skip, I wish I could bring it to you, bring you better news, because I like to be a harbinger. Skip, you know what harbinger means. You old Vanderbilt guy like that.
I taught you the meaning of that word.
So I don't like to bring this kind of news because a lot of times when you keep bringing bad news, Jenny, people don't even like to see you come around. Like, oh, here you come with some old bad news again. But you know one thing, Skip Bayless, when we talk about the Dallas Cowboys, you already know how it's going to end up for you. It's not going to end up very pleasantly because this is not the 90s. This is the 21st century. And unfortunately, your team will meet its same fate as it had the past quarter decade, which is 0 Super Bowl appearances.
Say QBR doesn't support my argument.
No, he's 17th. He was 17th last year.
Who had the best QBR in the postseason last year? Help me out. Help me out. How about Dakota Prescott?
Hold up. Did that equate to winning the Super Bowl?
It equated to winning a playoff game and nearly winning a second.
No, nearly. That game was not as close as
It
you
was
make
a
it out to be.
one-score game, and if we'd gotten the ball back, you would have eaten more crow the next day.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah. So I should quote my favorite proverb before I start.
Okay, what's your favorite?
23:9. Do not speak within the hearing of a fool, for he will despise the wisdom of your words. So that's not aimed at you.
I know it is. It's aimed at me.
Just to put it out there.
Yeah, you just
I'm
put
just
that out
putting
there.
it out there in the middle of the table. This is simply the most baffling phenomenon I have encountered in the many, many years I have debated sports on television and written sports columns for newspapers across this country. Never before have I been more dumbfounded by a phenomenon than this one. But I must tell you, more and more, by the day, by the list, I love this phenomenon. In fact, I quadruple love this phenomenon for my quarterback number 4.
Okay.
Because what does he always say? Challenge accepted. This will be like rocket fuel for number 4 because he will hear about yet another list that will propel him into yet another season after he has already proven so much in this league. He's 32-16 as a starter with 2 division titles in 3 years. He's proven so much with so little credit and so little respect. I'm going to say it one more time. Dak Prescott has become the most underappreciated, under-respected,
overhyped,
underrated, I think I'm speaking right now, underrated quarterback in this league, and we're bordering on in the history of this league. I'm not going to go there yet, but we're starting to enter that territory right here, right now with this, what are we up to, 3 lists? Or,
Yeah.
Okay, 3 lists
Has yet to
this
make
year.
any of them.
Maybe 101 on all.
So I can't tell you how much I love this and how much I thank ESPN's experts for voting him out of the top 100 because my team as in Cowboys, need this. So the criteria for this list, they're all a little bit different, but this one is emphasis on predicting potential greatness going into just this season. It's not on past performance. Some of the other lists were based on the last 3 years. Was it the Pro Football Focus one, I believe it was?
Yeah, last season. It was based on last season.
I think they also took into account the last 3 years. But this one takes into no account.
Yeah, Pro Football Focus rating quarterback.
They're projecting into this year.
Like it.
So, whose rocket launched over the back half of last year? Who had the biggest springboard into this coming football season? Could it be Dakota Prescott? Because let's just look at last year's last 10 games, including 2 playoff games, and that was after my quarterback finally got a true number 1 receiver. What happened, Mr. Sharpe? He took off in ways we've rarely seen a quarterback take off in this league. So what happened over those last 10 games, including the 2 playoff games? He led the NFL in completions over those 10 games. He led the NFL in what are termed by Pro Football Focus catchable passes. So he threw the most catchable passes over the last 10 games of last year.
Check downs and swings.
Okay. Oh, that's interesting you bring that up because he was 3rd over the last 10 games in what's called air distance. Just how far did the pass travel toward the receiver? Well, he was 3rd in the league, so I think your Dink and Dak just got steamrolled because 3rd, and I don't know, that's what the stat says here. He was 4th in the whole league in passing yards over the last 10 games, and he was 5th in passes for first down. So I could take his cumulative stats over the last 10 games, and I could just scream at you, top 5 quarterback.
No.
And I can take the postseason QBR, my favorite stat, and you say it invalidates his case, yet just in the postseason, he led it in QBR because you know what happened in the first postseason game? He outplayed Russell Wilson, who, by the way, is ranked 9th on this list.
Yes.
He's ranked 9th.
Yes.
He outplayed Russell Wilson, and they won the game, and he had a QBR 74 to Russell's 70, which is very good, but 74 is really good. And who made the play of the game? Well, obviously, Dak made it because he can make plays with his leg.
Quarterback.
Yeah.
Skip Bayless, why do you keep doing? You keep telling me the last 8 games. When Amari Cooper arrived, that's what you keep telling everybody.
Took off.
He took off.
Springboard into this year. Wouldn't it predict potential greatness this year? What he did? Yeah. No. I think the floor got handed to me, and I'm not even started yet.
All right.
Okay. So what happened in the second playoff game right here at the Coliseum in L.A.? He played against a Jared Goff, who, by the way, ranks 48th on this list, so he's kind of halfway up the list. QBRs in that game were Dak 84 to Jared Goff 57, and I thought that was actually maybe Dak's best game of his career because he had no running game at all because his running back went nowhere slowly in that game, right? He did it all by himself with a lot of help from Amari, and he turned up the heat on the Rams because if they get the ball back, we're having a different conversation.
Skip, at one point
in
the
the
game
second
was out
half,
of hand.
yeah, what's that?
The game was out of hand.
It was not out of hand.
Yes, it was, Skip.
It was a 30-22 game. It was a one-score game.
But
don't tell me out of hand.
Skip, the game was not as close as the score would indicate.
If we get the ball back, we're down 1 score.
But you had done nothing up until that drive.
Nothing.
Nothing.
Go look at the numbers he put up. He had a QBR of 84. Do you know how hard it is to have a QBR of 84 on a scale of 0 to 100? Go look at it. Go tell me what he did or didn't do, because he did a lot.
He did not win the game.
Okay, well, obviously, his defense gave up 230 yards rushing.
Okay, what about his defense?
Lord have mercy.
Before, I'm going to let you go.
No, you're going to let me go, period, because it's my turn. I gave you the floor. I sat over here just zipped up, and I couldn't say a word. And you kept saying, okay,
go ahead.
Okay, so what happened over the second half of the year? Twice he played your guy Carson Wentz, who's 31st on this list. Really, 31st on this list?
Yeah.
Twice he played the defending champion Philadelphia Eagles.
Yep.
What happened in those 2 games, Mr. Sharpe? I think my team won
won
because my quarterback was really good
What
in
about
those
the
2
defense?
games. So I think it's my turn.
Okay.
So in the 2 fourth quarters and the 1 overtime versus the defending champs in Carson Wentz, doesn't play defense, but he was on the football field, my quarterback went 24 of 28 for a combined 331 yards and 4 touchdowns and no interceptions against the defending champs. That's extraordinary throwing of the football under pressure in 2 fourth quarters and 1 overtime. Yet Carson Wentz made it at 31, and I do not get that. So over the back half of the season, including the 2 playoff games, my quarterback went 14 touchdowns to only 4 interceptions, and my team went 8-2 over that stretch. And that's not a rocket launch into this year. That wouldn't predict potential greatness. And by the way, Aaron Rodgers, he always just on reputation alone, he's ranked 6th on, again, he just keeps dipping, dropping.
But he ain't dropped out of the top 10. He hadn't dropped out of the top 100 like your quarterback has.
Well, I'm just saying he's 6th, and yet my quarterback has faced him 3 times in his career. My quarterback has an average QBR in those 3 games of 80. Aaron has an average QBR in those games of 62. 80 to 62 average over a quarterback who's ranked 6th.
2-1.
So in the end, in the big picture, I see 18 receivers ranked in the top 100.
Okay.
18 receivers? Yeah. I see 6 in the top 20.
Yeah.
It is, listen, it is asinine to put those in there. It is asinine. It is 1,000 to put that many receivers in the top 100 above my quarterback, because my quarterback does play quarterback, and he's really good at playing quarterback. So his potential greatness of carrying a team to a Super Bowl far exceeds 18 receivers? Are you kidding me?
Well, let me try to help you understand how when they make these lists, what they don't do is what you do. They don't piece together a first quarter against the Giants, the second quarter against Washington, the fourth quarter against the Eagles.
Together.
It's my turn. I think I have the floor. You turned it over to me. I think it's my turn now.
No, I'm conceding the floor to you because it's really still my turn.
No. Yeah. Well, thank you for conceding the floor to me.
We'll get more.
What you do is what they do not do is that they don't piece together Dak's games. Dak's stats. You take a quarter from this game, a half from that game, and then you try to combine it. That's not what he is. But you keep putting this narrative out there that once they got Amari Cooper, Dak took off. Did you know, Skip Bayless, once they got once they got Amari Cooper, that Zeke Elliott led the league in rushing. He was 22 rushes clear of everybody else, even though he missed the last game of the season. So
No, he was really good. I always tell you he's the best running back in football.
It's my turn. I don't need you to validate that. I already know what I'm talking about. Thank you. Appreciate that.
No, well, you don't think he's the best running back in football. You're telling me Saquon is.
Also, you keep telling me about this air distance that travel that Dak was throwing the ball down the field.
That's a stat.
But Zeke Elliott led the team in average catches per game. He had one fewer catch.
That's the first half.
No, the second half. Yes,
No, he didn't. In the second half, want to bet?
Yeah, I bet. What you want to bet?
Yep. Okay. Done.
Average catches per game. Zeke Elliott had more catches than Amari. Amari finished one catch ahead of Zeke, but Zeke didn't play the final game of the year.
Well, okay, so then he's disqualified.
No, he can't hit me score. As I said before, average catches per game, Zeke was number one. And Skip, everybody keeps telling you what needs to happen. Everything must go well. The sun must rise in the east at exactly 6:38 p.m. A hawk, not an eagle, but a hawk must fly from a flagpole and swoop down and catch a shrew. All these things must be perfect in order for Dak Prescott to succeed. Three of the best offensive linemen in football. Get Amari Cooper, get Zeke Elliott, and he still can't crack it. Can you imagine if my homeboy had that offensive line?
Travis Frederick playing last year? No, I think not.
Hold on.
Yeah.
So that was the first year he missed.
Yeah.
But he had Tyron Smith. You see what you keep doing? You see, when Dak doesn't play well, it's Travis Frederick. Now, you didn't mention anything about this offensive line when you was talking about the Eagles. If he passed for 283 yards and 4 touchdowns with no picks. You didn't mention offensive line.
No,
it's
always been good.
You always tell me that, he beat him head to head. But you didn't tell anybody that the Cowboys defense stopped the #1 rushing attack, Seattle Seahawks, cold in their tracks.
Surely.
You didn't mention that. Yeah. All you said it was Dak outdueled Russell Wilson. You know that not to be the case. They gave up.
No, I saw that was the case.
Okay,
Who was the MVP of that game? Come on, who was it? It was Dak Prescott.
Defense.
No, stop.
Okay, opening game of last year. They lost the game 16-8. Carolina Panthers. When you give up 16 points on the road, how many points did Dak Prescott score, Skip?
He had nobody to throw
Nobody.
to. He had nobody. Cole Beasley was his, and again, Zeke was his #1 target over the first 8 games.
What did Cole Beasley say? Y'all keep on talking about the receivers can't get open. It ain't no receiver can't get open. That's what old Beasley say. Now, Beasley be dropping that heat for you.
Yeah. What did Shannon Sharpe tell me about Dez Bryant? What did you tell me about Dez Bryant?
Dez was not there last year.
What did you tell me about him? Broken down shell of himself, cannot get open, does not run any route tree. He was a liability as a #1 receiver. He had no rapport. He had no connection with Dak Prescott. And all of a sudden, a receiver entered at midstream. It's hard to just throw somebody into the offense and say, go, do it.
Yeah.
Establish chemistry instantly. And they did. And that's why Dak over the last 10 games was 6th in deep pass touchdowns. Were those to Zeke Elliott? I think not. They were mostly to Amari Cooper. And some to Michael Gallup, who's going to emerge as a big, deep threat receiver this year.
I hope so for your sake.
So here we
but
go.
I don't believe it.
And by the way, just for the record, a whole bunch of other quarterbacks did not make this list.
I don't know about
Starting with Nick Foles, Matthew Stafford, Andy Dalton.
Okay. They shouldn't.
Kirk Cousins.
They shouldn't.
Jimmy G, Derek Carr, Joe Flacco, Mitchell Trubisky, Jameis Winston, Eli Manning, Sam Darnold. Do I have to keep going?
No.
Lamar Jackson. None of those made the top 100.
We're not concerned about who didn't. There's only one guy that you get up here and bring pom-poms and champagne for every single day, and that's Dak Prescott. He didn't make it. Hold on. Coaches and exec in the Athletic said he was the 17th ranked quarterback. Tier 3. Now, hold on. Since when did they start with 3s? I thought it goes 1, 2, 3, 4.
Though one of those guys was quoted in there, he might just have such a big year that we're thinking about him as a 1.
I'm talking about right now. I don't know what I'm thinking about.
Well, that quote was in that story.
I'm thinking about buying a mansion in Malibu. Let me have to say that.
I read that quote, so maybe I should buy a mansion in Malibu because that's tangible. That happened.
Well, get on Zillow. There's one being mentioned right now. My name is attached to it.
Well, you've got one in Bel Air, so what do you care about?
Skip, look, it's hard, Skip. I understand, Skip, that this is your childhood team. You believe Cowboy Blue. But, Skip, the hardest thing, imagine, now you think of how this is weighing on you. Imagine how this is weighing on Jerry Jones. Jerry Jones is seeing, I got to pay a quarterback $34 million a year with 70.
How did it get to 34?
Hold on, talk about somewhere between, it's reported somewhere between 32 and 34. So he's going to have to play his quarterback in excess of 30.
Nobody knows.
Okay.
Guesswork. Guesswork.
Okay, how about this?
Speculation. Rampant.
Okay, this is what we know. He's going to have to pay his quarterback in excess of $30 million annually per year. Correct? Am I correct with that? You feel comfortable in saying that?
Somewhere in there.
Okay, somewhere in there. He's saying, I got to pay a guy $30 million a year, and he can't crack the top 100. He can't get on the list when they take 17 quarterbacks. They take 13. They take 15. He's not one of them. And I got to pay $100 million plus for that? So imagine what he's going through.
Did you see what Jerry said after Saturday night's game? Dak Prescott, he said, I'm quoting, he has answered every challenge we've ever thrown at him. That's the truth.
Well,
That's
where the money?
God's truth.
Where the money?
Well, it's coming. It'll come.
Well, why is it
Watch.
coming? No, why is it
Just
coming?
watch.
Why is it coming?
Yeah.
Jerry Jones print money. Go ahead and give him what he's asking for.
He is the face of this franchise. He is the leader in this locker room. He is the driving force of this team. Jerry definitely, obviously, will pay him. And it's just silly wrong that these lists keep putting him, not putting him in the top 100 because it is classic sheep think. Once, and again, I've had a lot to do with it. I'll take the blame for this because the more I dig in, the louder I speak about Dak Prescott, the more a lot of people in the media say, oh, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to give in to that guy. Okay,
Skip,
fine.
Skip.
Good, good. Don't do it.
Skip, no one is saying he's terrible, God-awful. What we're saying is that he's not top tier. He's a middle-of-the-road quarterback. You are the only one unwilling to accept that.
The
as
numbers
fact.
scream very differently after he
What
got
numbers?
a true number one. I just gave them all to you. His stats were top 5, not top 10, not even top 15. They were top 5 over the last 10 games. Led the postseason in QBR. And by the way, he's now 32-16 as a starting quarterback, which is simply the second best record to that guy up in Foxborough. Really? And I'm going to say it again. I know you get sick and tired of hearing it, but it's a dead, solid, true fact. He has led this league in game-winning drives over the last 3 years total. 3 years.
He has led his team in putting them in a hole to begin with.
Well, and boy, he dug them right out of those holes a bunch of times, including twice against Walk It To Him, as you call him.
I'm not going to give you credit for saving me from drowning if you're the one that's standing on my head to begin with. Okay, he puts them in harm's way to begin with. And then you, Skip, if you burn my house down, you don't get to say I ran in there and saved something. You burned it down to begin with. Dak, I ain't giving Dak no credit. He put him in harm's way with all those interceptions and fumbles. All those sacks. What you going to do about all those sacks that he's taking?
Yeah, but you're saying he burned the house down.
Yeah.
Yet it's suddenly completely restored, all in the fourth quarter.
No.
It's completely back to Mansion.
All he did was save a couple
That's
pictures.
miraculous
He saved
what he does.
All he did was save the family Bible and a couple of pictures. The house is really shambles.
Really?
Yeah, that's all he did.
Shambles won the NFC East last year. How do you explain that, Shannon?
So
you can't explain it
is that what the
because
Cowboys,
you know I'm right.
Is that what the Cowboys
you
are
know
about?
I'm right.
Is that what the Cowboys are about?
What do you mean?
Is that what they're about, division?
Start, man.
They ain't no start.
Did they win a playoff game? Yep.
They want more, though.
Yeah. Sure they want more.
Yeah.
They're right on schedule. He was a 4th-round pick.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Tom Brady was a 6th-round pick. Thank you.
Yeah. And that's what he performs like.
Oh.
He's met all the
Wait,
expectations.
did you say Tom Brady performs like a 6th-round pick?
You just said I was talking about Dak.
Oh, but I just said Tom Brady was 6th round.
No, I was talking about.
Okay, so it happens where you're way underdrafted and then you overperform.
Oh, are you saying Dak was underdrafted?
Sure. Underdrafted, that's like the understatement of the history of this show.
He's performing exactly like where he was drafted.
Oh, really?
That's why nobody.
Also, 32-16, I'm going to get my quarterback in the 4th round. Thank you.
No one except you is upset that Dak is where he is because he's a 4th-round pick. What do you
Trust me,
expect?
there are a lot of people in Cowboy Nation who are on my side on this one.
Yeah, they're going to be on your side too while you're sitting home watching the playoffs.
Does
They're
this
gonna be on your side.
motivate him or does this affect him? Because 3 lists.
Three.
That hits you.
What was the first thing I said?
I know.
Rocket fuel. Here we go.
But he'll
something to consider.
Challenge accepted.
Rocket-
Thank you, Shannon.
Rocket-
you are
Like
feeding
it.
my cause. I appreciate it.
Rocket fuel doesn't work in a moped. It only works in a rocket or a jet.
Okay, I want to get that on. We got it
As
on tape.
all record.
You just called Dak Prescott a moped. I don't know if a lot of people even know what a moped was.
Okay, a Vespa.
Okay,
A scooter.
Okay.
Okay.
Whatever you want to call it.
You're talking about something that has like 1 horsepower.
Okay.
I remember that.
What? He got more speed than that?
1 horsepower threw for 331 in 2 fourth quarters in an overtime.
I
don't know how it
think
happened.
Zeke is any
When they start
best,
playing,
or-
hold on, what
we
game
can
did they
talk
got
about
2
that
fourth
guy.
quarters in?
Yeah.
When they start?
Two Philly games.
Oh,
That's what.
Again, you
Yeah.
piecing together stuff.
We got to talk
Patchwork.
about a different cowboy. Does Zeke really want to be a cowboy for life?
Yep.
Or is he just saying the right
Nope.
things at
Yep.
the right
Nope.
time? That's
Right.
next.
Nope.
Don't forget, you can check us out every day on the Fox Sports Channel on Sirius XM. We'll be right back.
No mercy.
I'm Jenny Taft. Thank you for listening to the Undisputed podcast. But before the show moves along, here's a quick word from our friends over at the Fantasy Footballers podcast. The NFL season is back, and that means one thing. It's fantasy football time. The Fantasy Footballers podcast is the most downloaded fantasy football podcast for a reason. It has the most accurate rankings as measured by fantasy pros, so you have a leg up on your competition. Want to dominate the waiver wire in your league? Be the first to find those hidden sleepers or grab those breakout stars before everyone else? Then you should listen to the Fantasy Footballers podcast to get the most up-to-date intel to win your matchup each week. Subscribe right now to the Fantasy Footballers podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to your podcasts. You can also visit them on the web at thefantasyfootballers.com. Subscribe now and dominate your fantasy football league.
No mercy.
Aaron Rodgers is the latest to weigh in on Andrew Luck's sudden retirement. Rodgers was not impressed by how the Colts organization handled it and how Colts fans reacted to their star quarterback's shocking news over the weekend. Take a listen.
I thought it was pretty disgusting. He's making a really tough decision. And even before that, he makes a decision. I don't know why that doesn't stay in-house to kind of protect him a little bit. Although, when I think about it, I thought it would have been, more of a standing ovation type thing and a thank you than boos.
Shannon, do you agree with Aaron Rodgers' reaction?
I do. Skip, I think the mistake that Andrew Luck made is that he tried to confide in some people, and they betrayed that very trust. And now people can understand why LeBron James kept this thing close to the vest when he made the decision, because that information would have gotten out. Skip, my grandpa used to always say, boy, 2 people can keep a secret, but one of them needs to be dead to make sure that thing follows through. Someone told. Now, we have a good indication that he told the owner, Jim Irsay. He told the general manager, I forget his name, Chris Ballard. I think that's his name, Chris Ballard. Jacoby Brissett said he told him. Now, more than one person knew. So, Skip, there's no way to definitively pin it down who actually leaked this information to Andrew Luck. Now, Schefter, in the business that he's in, Skip, time is money. And the longer he lets this go, maybe the guy that told Schefter told someone else, and they put the information out there. A lot of times, Skip, people put information out there because they want to be first.
Yep.
Not right first. Well, in this business, Skip, you cannot be second. Second basically is slow feet. Slow feet don't eat.
Yep.
Yeah, in their world.
Yes. So it was terrible how it was handled. And I think, I guess I know well, I would assume that Luck is sitting back like, man, I confided in some people that I thought it was trust because this was a big decision for me. And the very people that I thought I could trust, they betrayed that trust. But for the fans, Skip, that's unacceptable. Skip, I see a lot of guys, you hear fans talk when you see some of these guys, and I go to the Hall of Fame, and I've been back basically every year since I was inducted. And I see some of the guys slowing down. I see some of the guys that's suffering from neurological disease and the tremor, Skip. And I hear fans say, well, you know what you signed up for. Well, Andrew Luck knows what he signed up for, and he says, I don't want to do it this year. But the fans feel like he owed them something. You're not willing to die for my entertainment? You're not willing to be unhappy for my entertainment? You mean to tell me that you would rather be healthy and live a productive life moving forward and be able to play with your kids and have a nice, happy life? You would rather not do that and not please me? You mean to tell me I don't mean that much to you? You willing to tell me you won't die for me, for my entertainment? Andrew Luck says no. Oh, how dare you? You quit on us. You mean to tell me a week before the season, 2 weeks before the season? Skip, I believe Andrew Luck actually thought, Skip, in April that this thing was going to get better. But then comes May, June, July, and here we are, August, Skip. We're 2 weeks away from the season. And Andrew Luck says, damn, I feel worse now than I did when I first got the injury. And doctors probably told him, Andrew, you're still probably a couple of months away if you're able to play at all.
I don't know what injury you're talking about because this is the biggest mystery in sports
Exactly.
right now. You must be talking about something really serious.
Right. And so he's like, nah. And he said, yeah, I made a vow to myself in 2016 that I was never going to play like that again. Because, Skip, no matter what you think of him, he's overrated this and all the hype about being the next John Elway. Andrew Luck has set a standard for himself. And anything less than that would be unacceptable to him.
Good. Got it.
And he says, you know what? I'm going to step away because I do not wish to be average. I agree with Aaron Rodgers. This situation, the team should not have, whomever leaked this, you're a jackass for doing it because the man put his trust in you and you betrayed his trust. And the fans that did boo, that was unacceptable. The man doesn't owe you anything. He owes it to himself and to his family to make the best decision moving forward for him and his family. Not for your fantasy, not for your playoff winning or division winning or Super Bowl aspiration, for himself. Because at the end of the day, Skip, he the one that got to wake up with these bumps and bruises and live for himself, not for some fan.
Okay, and that is his inalienable right to walk away from.
Yes.
Okay, no problem with that. But Aaron Rodgers is trying to tell us that, hey, he should get a standing ovation. He should be celebrated for what he did do for those fans.
Right.
Nope, you don't get it, Aaron. I'm sorry, but I do get this one because I've been doing this for a long time and I've watched hundreds and hundreds of star athletes come and go.
Yes.
And I've watched many of them try to transition into our business here, especially you.
Yes.
And there's always this period. It's a hard sort of to snap out of who was I and who am I? It's hard to come back to reality of who are you. And Doug Baldwin went on and on yesterday talking about that transition, how difficult it is because you develop, according to Doug, a God complex where you're so hero worship that you start to think, I'm invincible, I'm immortal. You need to worship me because I can do something you can't do. And he called it a false affirmation and a false validation of who you really are as a human. And I applaud Andrew if he did, in fact, we don't know that he's going to stay retired, but we think we're edging toward he's going to stay retired.
Well, I believe he'll stay retired in 2019.
Okay, fine. But the point is, right now, he's going to miss this season because he's thinking about, as Doug Baldwin says, how can I play with my kids as I start to have children? Can I play with them? Will I be able to think straight as they grow up into their high school and college years?
Right.
Well, okay, those are huge questions to ask. But here it is, cold, hard facts. What do those people up in the stands want the most? Number one, they're willing to pay a lot of money for you to entertain them because you were born with physical gifts they were not born with. Gifts to play a violent game. It is a dangerous game.
Very.
And make plays on Sundays and Monday nights and Thursday nights that those people up in the stands maybe wanted it at one point in their young lives to make, and they just couldn't do it. So that's pure entertainment level. And number two, and maybe even more important, what's the essence of pro sports or college sports? Bragging rights. Because those people up in the stands want you to win for them bragging rights with their friends who love other teams, at work against coworkers who love other teams, maybe in fantasy football, bragging rights, but wherever they go, on social media, they want bragging rights. That's the essence of what we're doing right now, bragging rights. I want to be able to brag to you about my Dallas Cowboys. So in the end, they just want to know, what can you do for my bragging rights? And then after it's over, then it's over. Then you go on out because you get highly compensated for doing what you do.
But Skip, the mere fact that he's willing to walk away from $60 million over the last 2 years of this deal should tell you something. How many people you know will walk away from $60 million?
Okay, fine, but that's his choice, but that doesn't impact their bragging rights. It just is negative. It's simply, and again, Aaron got this right. It was all out of sequence. It was cart before horse because, as he said, I don't know why that doesn't stay in-house to kind of protect him a little bit. So it was completely out of order that Andrew's down on the sideline kind of having a happy time with his teammates, and everybody's looking at their phones up in the stands saying, wait a second, Schefter's reporting he's retired. He has? Well, we didn't know that. So again, they're not booing Andrew Luck. Nobody hates Andrew Luck.
They booed him.
Okay, they don't hate him personally because you know why? Because he's just a big bearded nerd. That's the way he comes. He's like the nicest guy in the history of pro
He's a great
sports,
guy.
right?
He is.
And he's not even on social media, so there's not 1 ounce of diva in Andrew Luck. He's never done one bad thing off the field that I'm aware of.
Right.
And the point is, they're not booing him. I told you yesterday, they're booing it because this team was on the verge of doing something really great. This team's on the verge of greatness, as in get to the Super Bowl.
Well, let me ask you a question, Skip. When entertainers retire, actors, actresses, musicians, they walk down the street, how many people boo them?
Okay.
You dare to entertain me.
It's different.
You
You're right. You're right.
Skip, Andrew, you somebody.
Okay, I told you they're booing it because the rug just got jerked out from under them because they're watching a team they think is a Super Bowl team, and all of a sudden their Super Bowl just went up in smoke. Shannon, it went up in smoke.
So
They're devastated. They're stunned. This came out of the bolt out of the blue, like they're struck by lightning.
You would rather Andrew Luck go out there and try and fake it, be miserable, potential do harm to his brother, do harm to his
No,
body.
I don't care about that.
No,
I'm
no, no.
with him.
I'm saying the fans.
Okay.
They would rather have that.
Here's all they know. They were told this was the next John Elway, and they were told that Jim Irsay is going to push Peyton out the back door. That's what he did that day, in favor of going forward with Andrew Luck. And what did Andrew Luck do for them over 7 football seasons? He gave them 4-4 in the postseason. He gave them 2 huge, embarrassing losses at the hands of Brady and the Patriots, right? One in the AFC Championship game.
There's no shame in that.
Okay, and listen, Andrew Luck stunk up that. It was the Deflategate game.
Yes.
It was an all-time
A lot of people have
stinker.
stunk it up against Tom Brady in the playoffs in that Foxborough.
And then Andrew stunk it up in the very last playoff game that we saw him play in, which was at Kansas City, where he had a QBR of 20 on a scale of 0 to 100.
Okay.
And it was a bad game, and it left a bad taste in everybody's mouth because they thought last year they had taken off. They steamrolled my team second to the last game of the year, 23-0.
Your team was never as good as you thought they were, but that's neither here nor there.
Well, they won a playoff game.
As Doug spoke about in that article, he says false affirmation. I understood at a very young age when I got to the NFL, you applauded what I did, not who I was. So once it wasn't Shannon Sharpe touchdown pass from John Elway.
So then you're agreeing with me. They're booing what he is, not what he was, but what he could do, right?
Skip, what he could do, well, who could do that? Andrew Luck. Skip, you can't say, Skip, how do you say you love chicken but hate the egg? They go hand in hand. He created it.
So, but you don't hate the person. You
No,
don't hate. There's nothing to hate about Andrew Luck.
Okay.
And here's the other thing. Guess how much money he made over 7 years?
Skip.
$122 million, and you're going to feel sorry for him?
No, I'm not, Skip. Let me ask you a question.
122. Think about this.
Okay, over the last 7 years, how much did Jim Irsay make?
Okay, but again, he doesn't play football. He figured out how to make money because he inherited
Okay,
a lot
so
of money.
Andrew Luck figured out, said, you know what? I got a skill set.
Yeah.
Although I got a degree in architectural engineering or whatever he got a degree in, I can make money using my body more so than my mind.
Okay.
But he's smart enough to understand where I am at this very moment. Skip.
What did those fans get for the $122 million that was paid to Andrew Luck? What did they get
They
back
got a couple
for?
I think they got a division or 2. They got 4 playoff wins. Skip, just because you go to a game, there is no guarantee that you're going to win a division or a Super Bowl. There is no guarantee. Hold on. Where is that in the contract? In the ticket says we guarantee you at some point in time, if you continue to go, you'll get a Super Bowl out of this. There's no guarantees.
No, but you're hoping, you're wishing, you feel like it's on the verge of being great.
Do you believe Andrew Luck wished he could continue to play?
Sure.
Okay, then. So what's the difference? He wished he could continue to play. They wish he could continue to play, but they boo the fact that he can't win them fantasy. They boo the fact that they can't win them a Super Bowl.
That is correct. That's what's going on here. No, don't ask me really. You should be asking yourself
No.
really. That's the point. That's the essence. Nobody hates Andrew Luck. They hate what just happened. They just
Skip,
just fell on their faces.
I don't know how you can compartmentalize this. I don't know how you can separate the two because they go hand in hand.
No. They were sold the next John Elway, right? Or the next Peyton Manning.
Skip, John Elway did not win a Super Bowl until year 15 and 16. There's no guarantee that there's nothing to say that he wasn't going to win. Peyton Manning didn't win a Super Bowl in his first 7 years.
Nope.
Okay, so we make it seem like this guy's a flat bust. He's not a bust.
No, but he didn't even come close to living up to the expectations.
Skip. See, Tom Brady has clouded the way people think because he won 3 Super Bowls within his first 5 years, and everybody thinks that's easy. Most of the Hall of Fame quarterbacks do not have that luxury. They don't win. Skip, the Patriots make everything look so easy, and everybody says, oh, this is how it should be done. But, Skip, there have been a lot of great players that never won a Super Bowl.
Yep.
Or when they did win, they didn't win until year 9, year 10, year 12.
By the way, John Elway got them to Super Bowl.
Yes.
Yep. How
Yes.
many was it? Like
he got to 3. He got to 3. He got to 86. He got drafted to 80. He got 86, 87, and 89.
That's not bad.
That's not bad.
No.
But that's not what the
But
Broncos
it took Terrell Davis falling out of the sky
to
into
get us.
your lap.
Yeah, to get us over the hump.
6th round.
Well, there's a lot of pieces that was in play, Skip Bayless.
Yeah, but I think that run game.
Oh, yeah, we
carried,
were a
right?
run-dominant team. There's no question about that. But I still believe, Skip, it's just hard for me to believe that you said they're booing it when Andrew Luck created it.
No, I mean, he just, they don't hate him. A lot of times you boo a guy because he's a bad guy.
No, Skip.
feel like-
Skip, a lot of times, look, Tom Brady gets booed. Tom Brady's not a bad guy. They boo him because they dislike him. They just because he wins. He's going to beat my team. That's why they boo Tom
Yeah,
Brady.
but we're talking about home booing.
Yeah, no, look, I've been booed at home, Skip. When the offense is not doing well, we go 4 or 5 series and we can't move the ball. We're turning it over. We can't pick up yeah, they boo. I get all that. But for Andrew Luck, for a guy to retire because his body is beaten, his mind is beaten, and he says, you know what, guys, I just need to step away for a while. If you don't, I'm not saying you got to throw bouquets of roses on him, Skip, but you gonna boo that?
Well, obviously, if all those fans could have sat and watched his postgame first, then their emotions would simmer, they would settle, and they would say, okay, I get it now, because they were clueless.
If
They
that
were
changed
lost.
and they still booed,
Skip,
that's when it would be.
Skip, there's an old saying, you never do or say anything permanent when you're temporarily upset. Now, Andrew Luck, that's etched in his mind. He's not, how do you get that back?
You think football fans are sitting up there saying, I shouldn't overreact to this. I better be
There lies
careful.
my point.
I don't want to let my
They
emotions.
did wake up the next day and think we shouldn't have booed the guy.
Exactly.
I don't think they're booing the guy.
Yeah,
I
I'll say
have
it one more
plenty of
time.
friends from
You know?
the Midwest, from Indy, who have reached out to me and said that
It's
once they knew the circumstances, they wouldn't have acted that way. If he walked on the field again,
Are Indy
they
fans
wouldn't
known
boo.
for booing their own? Philly fans are, but not Indy fans.
Indy,
Just-
first of all, before Peyton Manning came, Indy was known for the Indianapolis 500 in high school basketball.
Yeah.
Peyton Manning turned that into a football town. And this guy
For a
kept
while,
it going.
Eric Dickerson did pretty well too.
Yeah,
Just for a while.
Skip, they were about, before Peyton came, they were about to move. Jim Irsay was about to move again. Lucas Oil is the house that Peyton Manning built.
No doubt.
He made Indy a football town, and that guy was able to keep that tradition going. Skip, you got to realize now, you remember all the heartbreak that Peyton Manning went through before he finally broke through.
Sure.
Having to be in the same division with the Patriots. Every year, the Patriots beating the brakes off him.
Yeah.
41-0 to the Jets.
Okay. All those fans care about is we're on the verge of the Super Bowl and we just lost our quarterback. They're booing the circumstance. It's shocking. They don't know anything. They're lost except to say it's over because it's over for them.
Yeah.
Do you think they're going to win the Super Bowl? I think not.
I would have, anytime I see a guy retire at a very young age, the first thing, okay, what's forcing this decision? Because I don't think anybody, because I don't really think, I've never heard an athlete says, you know what, I'm going to get in, make my money, and in 10 years I'm gone. Everybody says I'm going to try. Doctors, lawyers say, you know what, I'm going to get in, get a couple of good cases, and I'm up out. Something you love to do, Skip, you do it as long as you possibly can. You're going to do this job because you love getting up at 2 a.m. You're going to do it as long as you absolutely possibly can.
Love it.
And when Skip Bayless says, you know what, I'm done, I'm like, hold on. Skip, what's up, bro? What's going on? Because this ain't like you. Because I know how much you... Oh, you ain't going nowhere.
Don't want to even tempt fate on that one.
Yeah, you ain't going nowhere. You a package deal.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah, we got it.
Yep.
Yo, you can't go.
I'm going nowhere.
Yeah, exactly.
Uh-oh.
Good.
I will
Not gonna
I'll bring you there, prop you up right there. Just nod in agreement, Skip. That way I get all the talk time. I just want you to sit over there and do just that right there.
That's his choice.
As much as I enjoy that, it wouldn't go as well.
Oh, yeah, it's
without
gonna go.
This dynamic.
Skip is agreeing with me.
Okay.
I am.
No mercy.
We got to talk about Ezekiel Elliott. His holdout continues as he negotiates to be the highest paid running back in the NFL. In an interview with Maxim from last month, Zeke acknowledged that he can't control where he will play his entire career. But if it were up to him, he'd stay put in Dallas. Zeke said, quote, "I love playing for the Dallas Cowboys. I love the organization, my teammates. I do want to be a Cowboy for the rest of my life, and hopefully that's a possibility." But even Emmitt Smith, the greatest running back ever, ended up going to play a couple of years for another organization. So it's just the nature of the game, but I want to be a Dallas Cowboy for as long as I can. Shannon, how big of a factor will this statement be in his negotiations?
Skip, it might be a factor, but he understands. I can assure you, Joe Montana and Jerry Rice thought they would be 49ers forever. Bruce Smith thought he would be a Buffalo Bill forever.
True.
Things don't. Emmitt Smith? Hold on. The guy that has the most rushing yards in NFL history spent the last 2 years at another team, and the guy that replaced him, I bet you 25 people can't tell you the guy that replaced Emmitt Smith at running back for the Cowboys. I can because he went to Savannah State. Troy Hambrick. And after 1 year, Skip, after they Julius Jones, he got released, and guess where he went? He went to Arizona to back up Emmitt Smith again. So it just goes to show you and see what teams do when they find a guy that loves the game of football. And Zeke loves to play the game of football. I really, truly believe, Skip, he loves the game of football. And he loves the team that he plays for, they use that against him. And because Steven and Jerry is trying to do, they're trying to like, oh, it's great to be a Cowboy. And Steven has said you can make so much money from just being a Cowboy that once you're done, you got appearances and autograph signings. It's great to be a Cowboy. But Zeke says, I want my money. I want my money. I want what I think I deserve. I think I deserve to be the highest paid running back, and I want to be compensated for that. Zeke also understands, Skip, this is his last chance. See, a lot of people, like quarterbacks, Skip, they don't need to take a big bite of the apple. They can take a bunch of bites because they're going to get their money. They'll get 1, 2, 3. And the way the medicine is going now and the way they protect the quarterback, they might get 4 bites of the apple. But the running back, he has to take one big bite. And he better get as big a chunk of that apple as he possibly can because he's not getting another big payday, Skip. We know that. Now, we
don't know it for a fact. Maybe he'll beat the system
and get what? Another
the odds. He might.
No, he might play longer, but he's not getting another $40, $50 million guaranteed contract. Not at that position.
Unless he becomes the Tom Brady of running backs.
It's not going to happen.
Okay.
Because they're already they're trying to find a way to devalue the position, even for a guy that's in his early 20s. You think they're going to give a guy in his late 20s, 30s that kind of money? Knowing that the collision, people say football is a contact sport. No, football is a collision sport. You collide with people. Those are car wrecks.
They are.
That you are involved in.
Emmett used to say, I feel like I just had another car wreck Sunday when we talked
Exactly. So, Skip, for me, I believe that Zeke, he really does want to be a Cowboy. He knows, Skip, he has an ideal situation. He has a relatively, as you mentioned, a relatively young offensive line. I don't think any of those top guys are over the age of 30. Tyron Smith, Travis Frederick, Zach Martin, Road Grader, Lyle Collins. He has a young quarterback, Amari Cooper. All these guys are under the age of 30, so they get an opportunity to go forward. But Zeke, if he's smart, he doesn't let that play into this discussion. Don't let them appeal to your emotions. Yeah, we want you to be a Cow. How many times you've heard organizations, oh, yeah, we want him to be a Cow, this for life. And the next thing you know, the guy up out of there. Either they traded him or they released him. No. So Zeke, be smart. I do with Skip. If Zeke is smart, he won't let them play on his emotion about this Cowboy stuff because you have to realize there are 31 other teams. And don't let them play to that emotion like with Zeke. You know, the Cowboys, you at the biggest stage. Give me my money and then we'll talk.
So I hear everything you just said, but I promise you, Jerry Jones is banking on that comment from Zeke Elliott, because I believe that came straight from his heart, and I believe Jerry believes that came straight from his heart, because now Ezekiel Elliott has been a Cowboy in Dallas, Texas for 3 years, going on 4. And he knows what it feels like to be a star in that city. That city loves its Cowboys. Again, this is always objective, subjective to me, where I don't know, does Denver love its Broncos more than Dallas loves its Cowboys? I don't know, it's a close call. There are other cities. Do Philly fans love their Eagles more than Dallas fans love their Cowboys?
Or Steelers love their Steelers fans.
You could keep going.
Green Bay.
Okay, from all of my travels in the time I spent in Dallas, I believe the adoration, the hero worship is the strongest in Dallas for the Cowboys. Everybody wants a piece of a Cowboy, wants to associate with the Cowboy, wants to say, I know a Cowboy, I bought a drink for a Cowboy, I did this for a Cowboy, I'm friends with so-and-so, okay?
Skip, you don't realize how many people in my hometown of Glenville, Georgia, always tell my sister, tell Shannon lay off my Cowboys.
Really?
Tell Shannon lay off my Cowboys.
That's funny.
Skip, it's nothing like it. I mean, look, I'm like, really? The Cowboys?
That's good.
But they love them.
For 13 years, I lived in Manhattan. And for 10 of those years, Ernestine and I on Saturdays would walk down 8th Avenue toward 42nd Street to go to the movies. And we would see right and left metallic blue jerseys. We would see Dak or Zeke, or going way back to whoever the stars at the time. We'd see a lot of Aikman jerseys, Emmett jerseys, Michael Irvin jerseys, which became Des Bryant jerseys. They're everywhere, and I always ask people when we're out, what happened? You grew up in New York, but you became a Cowboy fan? Yeah, it's the colors, man. There's something
always
about
say
I know
that.
it's the colors.
Even there,
They do.
at security at the front.
Yeah.
He's born and raised in
Loves
New York.
them.
Goes back when his time's up, a month.
Yeah.
He loved the
I
Cowboys.
think he's Bronx, right?
Yeah, love the Cowboys.
Okay. And Tex Schramm, who was the sort of the architect of the Dallas Cowboys, may he rest in peace, once told me that I handpicked the jerseys and I would test them on a TV. I had a TV camera brought into my office to test how does the blue look until we get just the right shade of blue that is the most appealing to your eye. And even now, but I told Ernestine the other night when the Cowboys came on in their 3rd exhibition game, I looked up at the jerseys, I see that, and I say, God, that's pleasing to my eye. It just looks good. Like and he knows what it feels like to wear that jersey. It's fun, man.
Skip, it is. And all the trips that I went to the Pro Bowl, the most popular helmet everybody wanted to trade with the Cowboy.
Wow.
They wanted that Cowboy helmet. They wanted it.
So it's in his blood, which is why Jerry's going to bank on he'll give me a small, some discount because he wants to not only do that, but he wants to do it with Dak and with Amari and with that offensive line and with the defense, because it's a close football team, close-knit. They all sort of came of age together, and they're on the verge. Emmett's situation was completely different than this because Emmett and company had just won the Super Bowl 1 year ahead of schedule, right?
Yeah.
It would be like last year's team had broken through in a shock to you and me and won the Super Bowl.
Right.
If that had happened, we'd be having a whole different conversation because he'd say, I got my ring, man. You know, now I need my money. But he doesn't have a ring yet. They're on the verge. They have a chance. And yet his best friend is the quarterback. Well, that's a powerful union right there because you don't usually find the running back and the quarterback are best friends.
Right.
So Jerry's got that going for him. So to me, Jerry's sitting back, stroking his chin, thinking, okay, we'll start on Labor Day, and we're going to pull this off because I'm going to give him some caveat. I'll either give him a little more salary, average salary, than Todd Gurley
or
gets.
bigger bonus.
Maybe a bigger bonus up front, or maybe, and more doubtfully, the guaranteed money.
Yeah, I think the thing is, Skip, is that for me, I wanted to be a Bronco, Skip, my entire career. But when I was a free agent at the end of the 99 season, 2000, Skip, Mike made me an offer he knew I wouldn't take, even though he knew how much I love the Broncos, Skip. Because for me, I was a 7th round draft pick. They believed in me. They gave me the opportunity. So I said, you know what? That's what happens sometimes. When someone gives you an opportunity, you feel like you're indebted to them, Skip. I felt like I was indebted to the Broncos. Yeah. So I was going to be willing to take less money as opposed to go somewhere else. But he made me an offer. He knew I would turn it down. So what did I do? I turned it down. Thankfully, I got an opportunity to come back. Mr. B called me and says, you deserve to finish your career here. And that mistake that was made 2 years ago won't happen again. I want you back. So, Skip, we all want to. I don't really think anybody goes in and says, you know what, I just want to spend 5 years here, 6 years here, and then I want to go somewhere else.
Sure.
Skip, you become a pillar in the community. You know your way around. If you're married and have kids, your kids are in school, you don't want to uproot that. But sometimes, you know, the money they make you an offer somewhere else, or the money that you're seeking is not what you think it should be, and it makes it difficult. But if Jerry can get close to the number that Zeke is asking, but there's still no guarantee that he finishes his career there, because you know these contracts. That's not baseball or basketball contracts. You know what I'm saying? Where you know, okay.
A little different.
Yeah.
This will get
You're hoping. You get nervous, Skip.
You
I
said
see it.
Labor Day. We could ask you
Labor
if you're
Day.
starting
We start.
to shake
Yes, you
a
can
little.
ask me next. Is it next Monday?
Monday. So
Yeah.
we've got
Monday
a couple
coming.
more days, Shannon, and then we can really
Uh-oh.
get on this guy. We got to go back to that top 100 list. Remember how we started the show? Is Aaron Donald really the best player in the NFL? Skip's going to enjoy this. We'll discuss next.
Yep.
No mercy.
According to over 40 NFL experts from ESPN, Aaron Donald is the #1 ranked player heading into this season. Donald has also been ranked at the top of both Pro Football Focus's top 50 list and NFL Network's top 100 list already. The Rams defensive lineman has won 2 straight Defensive Player of the Year awards, and Donald racked up 20.5 sacks last season and helped lead the Rams to a Super Bowl appearance. But Skip,
Yes.
this is a question for you.
Thank
Do
you.
you agree that Aaron Donald is the best player in the NFL?
I do not. Furthermore, this has become the second most baffling phenomenon in all of sports, because number one is Dak Prescott has not made 3 straight top 100 type lists. And now 3 straight times. Is it up to 3 on Aaron Donald?
Yep, 3 for
Aaron
3.
Donald has made #1 in all 3. And I just don't get it, because I just don't see it. I'm going to say it again. I watched a whole lot of LT, as in Lawrence Taylor, and he wreaked havoc every game I ever turned on my TV or sat in the press box for. You just saw it. Oh, they can't block him. I watched Charles Haley a whole bunch in his career in San Francisco versus Dallas, and then Dallas versus San Francisco. Trust me, you just couldn't block him. He flew off the edge with such rage that 2 people often couldn't block him, and he leaped off your TV screen until you said, oh, look. Reggie White wasn't always that dominant, but when he got cranked, he became unblockable by 2 people in the interior line, and sometimes 3. And he leaped off your screen because he took over football games. I have yet to watch one Aaron Donald game that he took over. Obviously, he is a very, very good player. But what? He's better than any quarterback? He's better than my homeboy or Tom Brady?
Better than.
Or Drew Brees? Are you kidding me? This is classic sheepthink once again, where one expert said, stroked his chin, said, that Aaron Donald, he's something. He's dominating these games. Oh, really? He does force double-team blocks, but then what happens? He disappears. I was thinking early this morning before we're going to do this topic, do I need any video to demonstrate? And I thought, wait a second, there is no video because I don't know any highlights. I'm sorry, I don't have a lot of highlights because in his postseason career, Aaron Donald has exactly a half a sack. Last year in 3 playoff games, he had 0 sacks. And I realize he plays more interior than edge. But still, if you're Reggie White, if you're that guy, you just flash all over the place. You get your hands on the quarterback. So against Dallas in the playoff game last year, he had 2 solos and 0 assists, and I don't remember him playing. At New Orleans in that classic playoff game, he had 2 solo tackles and 0 assists. Against the Patriots, he had 1 solo in the Super Bowl and 4 assists. Okay, 4 assists is okay, but I don't remember him in the Super Bowl. I'm sorry, I don't. And yet, in the big picture, I even go back to the first Dallas game I watched him in, which was the 2017 game at Jerry World.
The game they beat
Do
y'all?
I remember? Yeah,
game they
where
came
we
back?
had them down at halftime.
Yeah.
And then we lost Sean Lee at halftime. Yeah, I remember that.
Who was your
game.
quarterback
Yeah.
then?
Yeah, the guy who out QBR, Jared Goff. He had an 80-something to a 50-something in that game. Yeah,
had a
thank you
something
for bringing
loss.
that up. In that game, Aaron Donald had 0 sacks. He had 2 solo tackles. He had 0 assists. I just don't remember him playing. So I've watched all these games, and I know that the ex-players say, "Oh, but you don't understand." Yeah, I do understand.
No, I
If
didn't
we're
say you
talking
don't
about
understand. I didn't say that.
transcendent,
Yeah.
if we're talking about domination, we're talking about LT and Charles Haley and Reggie White, and we're not talking about Aaron Donald. And again, it's just silly wrong to say he's the best player in football.
Skip, the mistake that I think a lot of people make, and you included, is that you say, well, he's not LT. Well, who the hell is? LT, I can make a case, and I let you take Tom Brady or whomever you want. I can make a case that LT is the greatest football player ever. Over Jerry, over Jim Brown, over Tom Brady, over Montana. I can make that kind of case because LT made 2 positions famous, the left tackle and the rush linebacker. But that's not what this discussion is about. This is about Aaron Donald. Skip, did you remember the game, the Monday night game? When they played, I think the Rams played my
Kansas
homeboy, the
City.
Chiefs.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Did he not flash?
He flashed a couple times in that game. Okay. Yeah.
Skip, last year, this is what he was. He led the league in sacks, tackle for loss, and QB hits. It was the largest gap between 1 and 2. He was 4.5 sacks clear of J.J. Watt. That's the biggest differential since Michael Strahan in 2001. Skip, he's the epitome. As an offensive player, when we went to the meeting rooms on Wednesday, and the coaches were going to explain to us what we was going to do, but who we needed to take care of, if we don't block this guy, we can't win the game.
Okay, I'll give you that.
Skip, I guarantee you, every team that plays the Los Angeles Rams, the first guy they circle is Aaron Donald. We got to find a way to block him.
Okay.
We got to slide to protect
They
him.
often do find a way to block him.
Well, that's where you have to have other guys to pick up the slack. Yeah, if you want to take Shannon Sharpe away, that means you had to go one-on-one with Ed and Rod. If that's what you wanted to do,
Sure.
have at it. Skip, when I watch this guy play, he's explosive.
Yep,
He
is.
jumps off the line, and his handwork is as good as any Taekwondo karate expert that you will see. Skip, he can do it all. He can rip you. He can Mr. Miyagi wax on, wax off. He can wipe you away. He can bull you. He can hump you. Skip, he is, and because he's so, and people are like, how the hell did he get there? Skip, he's already lined up in that shaded stance and that 3 technique. So he's already close to the quarterback.
Yep.
If you do not stop his initial charge before the quarterback can get through his fake, Skip, that's why he's already on the quarterback slinging him down. Because once he slides past that guard, he can get skinny, Skip. When I first saw him, I was like, the face looked familiar, and I'm looking at him like, damn, he's small. And that's the mistake that people made when they were grading him coming out of Pitt. They looked at his size, and it's like, Skip, that guy's a hell raiser. When you go into I guarantee you ask all the teams that they're gonna play. I guarantee you the first guy, Skip, we played Reggie White. We played Deion Sanders. Skip, we played the Cowboys in 1998. We hung 35 points on in the first half. I remember in the meeting building up to it, it's like, okay, whoever he lines up on, you're not getting a lot of passes. We're gonna pay him respect. We're not out to try to prove anything. Those other guys are not Deion. Well, I hit him up for 6 for 99 and 2 tubs at the half. You know, I'm just dealing, doing my thing.
Did Deion take you?
No, he had Rod.
Yeah.
Rod had, I think, 1 catch. But, hey, that's the way, hey, we going to stay away from you, Skip. I don't need to butt my head, Skip. I don't need to prove to anybody, oh, my guy one-on-one can handle him. What you trying to prove? You trying to win the game or you trying to play hero? Because if you need to slide 2, and when we play guys like that, sometimes we'd have the back, okay, if he's an end, you make sure you get as close to it and you chip your way out. If he's a tackle, you work your way through the line of scrimmage and chip your way out. Skip, this dude's special. I'm not going to look. I played against a lot. I played against Sapp, played against Johnny Randall as far as the defensive tackles. Skip, he's in that breath. And when it's all said and done, he might be the best.
Okay. So I didn't even have my Pro Bowl center last year, Travis Frederick, and in a game out here at the Coliseum, a playoff game, He had 0 sacks, 2 solos, no assists.
But
it's not good enough.
But
like,
you did.
how can you not, against my backup center, you can't just crush him and annihilate him?
No, because you got a Pro Bowl guard, an All-Pro guard right there. And then in 2017, you mentioned you had an All-Pro guard and a Pro Bowl and an All-Pro center trying to doing double work on him.
Yeah, you're trying to tell me he's transcendent because he might just be the best defensive tackle in history. I got to see it first. I got to see it.
He's on that trajectory.
Okay.
He's on that trajectory, Skip.
Boy, he trajected right out of the playoffs last year with 0 sacks. 3 games, 0 sacks. I don't even remember hard pressure, so I said, ooh, boy, he almost got there that
Well,
time.
he slung Tom Brady down once. But, Skip, the thing that you have to love about Coach Belichick, whether it's an offensive or defensive player, he's not going to let your best player beat him. If your best offensive player is a running back, if he's a wide receiver, Coach Belichick will not let those guys beat him. Now, if your B receiver or your C receiver can have at it from a defensive perspective, he's not in there trying to prove a point. Coach Belichick would not challenge Dion. Why? Why butt your head when those other guys are not? When I can get 150 yards against the second DB or the slot DB, why am I going to butt my head? That's why they didn't challenge. Why would you challenge Darrell Reeves, Skip, when you can work the slot and beat up on somebody else? That's what you do, Skip. If I can double him and get one-on-one everywhere else, I deal
Why
with
didn't
that.
Coach Belichick say, I'm not going to let Nick Foles beat me? Why didn't he say
Wait,
that?
Skip,
Nick Foles hung 40 on him.
Skip, the guy has the court. It's kind of hard because the quarterback gets the ball every time.
I'll blitz him. I'll make him look silly.
Well, you couldn't blitz, Skip, because you couldn't generate pressure like you could last year.
You didn't have your best cover corner in the game because he was on the bench for mysterious, inexplicable reasons. But
Hold on.
Mystery.
But we're going to talk about the GOAT. He dropped the pass, Skip. Dropped the pass.
threw for 505, playoff record.
Yeah.
Playoff record.
And a fumble.
Wow. interesting.
Yeah. Remember, they fumble.
33 points Tom Brady scored in that game, which is the most a Super Bowl
Skip,
loser has ever
You see what you do, Skip? You take an anomaly game. With Coach Belichick, I bet you I can count on one hand in the playoffs the time that Coach Belichick's defenses in almost 40 with the Patriots that he's given up 30 plus.
You hate it that the anomaly comes in the Super Bowl that you're favored to win.
But Skip, it happens. It happens. Okay. Aaron Rodgers' team gave up 51 in the divisional, in the wild card game. You can't help that. I mean, the Giants hung 38 on them at home. It happens. But that guy right there, Skip, he the real deal.
Just for the record, Tom Brady fourth. So.
That's what you said. Oh, look, where was Dak on that? Like, I don't think we talked
Yeah,
about
maybe 101. I'm not sure. But maybe they should.
Hypothetically,
do 150.
going into next year, if you just had a draft and you said to GMs, you could take any player on this list just for this coming year, who would they take? I think they'd take Tom Brady.
I'm not taking, I tell you what, I'm taking Aaron Donald over you know who.
Who?
You know.
We're going
Tom
to talk
Brady?
about it. Oh, is that the guy? You want to go there again?
Deacon and Dakin.
Let's stay talking
Nothing
about that
beat
top
Dak.
100 list. Should Dak be on it? Antonio Cromartie joins us. Let's hear what he thinks. We know what Shannon thinks next.
No mercy.
Well, how about this? Another list and no Dak Prescott. A panel of NFL experts at ESPN rated the league's top 100 players for the upcoming season. There were 6 Cowboys that cracked that list, but Dak was not one of them. Dak was also left off the NFL Network's top 100 players list this offseason. We're joined now by former All-Pro cornerback Antonio Cromartie. Good to see you.
Good morning. Good morning.
We gotta get your take on this.
Sit over here and listen.
Yeah, you just sit back, Skip. I want to
relax.
hear what Antonio has to say. Does Dak deserve to be on this top 100 list?
There's 11 quarterbacks on the list. 2 of them that shouldn't be on there.
Aha.
And I do believe that Dak should be on the top 100 list.
Okay.
And that's just my
Finally.
opinion. I think if you're going to add Jared Goff and Cam Newton at the end, I think Dak Prescott deserves to be on there. And that's just overall what he's done. Now, if they're basing this off if Zeke's going to be there or somebody else is going to be there, then you still got to throw that in one because I still think he's had, so far earlier in the career, has a better career than Cam Newton and Jared Goff.
And Cam was 94th on the list, so he barely sneaked in at the back end,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, but this skip is for reaction. Everybody want reaction out of this list.
Okay.
That's all it is.
And you said 2 quarterbacks do not belong on the list?
I feel Jared Goff shouldn't be on there.
Really? And he's 48.
Pretty high up there.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll buy that. I'm with you.
I bet you would buy
Yeah.
it. Yeah, but I ain't selling.
And who else should not be?
I don't think Cam Newton should be on there.
Really? You don't think he should?
No, and it's a lot of slates on there. A lot of people that got slated on that's on that list that shouldn't be there.
Why not Cam?
I just don't see it. I just don't see him being a top 100 player with everybody that's on there.
I mean, it just seems like yesterday he was the MVP of this league. It was 2015. Okay, but it just.
A while ago now,
okay, I guess so. And I know he's declined each of the years.
A lot of injuries.
A lot of injuries. Okay.
Had a lot of injuries. I don't see the same Cam Newton, the MVP Cam Newton. I don't see it. I think Dak has outplayed him at that point right now. Okay. Since he's came into the NFL.
But like you told me, Skip, head-to-head, what happened last year? That's what you base everything on. You say Dak Prescott went head-to-head with Carson Wentz and beat him twice.
Yep.
Okay, head-to-head, what did Cam Newton do? They had a most wanted, a top 100 most wanted. Your guy can't make a top 100 most wanted list. So in other words, what they're telling you, Skip,
on this show, he'd be number one on the most wanted.
Oh, my gosh. I don't know about that now. I don't know about that now.
Skip, how many lists must they put out that your guy can't make it before you start to come to the realization? That epiphany, you don't skip the realization when you realize that, you know what? I was wrong about this one. It's okay, Skip. You've been right so many times. You're just wrong about this one.
How right was I last year?
About what?
How about Dak Prescott?
Skip.
Who won the division last year?
Skip.
Who won a playoff game last year?
Dak, I mean, all these things, they had him as the 17th rated quarterback. Now, what we're going to do, what we're about to do, Crow, is that we're about to come out with a 150. So that way we can get him on the list. Because it's kind of hard. It's kind of hard to keep having lists where you don't have the most valuable, the most known sports franchise in all the world, and his quarterback's not on it. But what we might do is that we might have a top 50 Cowboys players currently. He on that one. But if you're talking about top 50 players in the NFL, Skip Bayless, 32 teams, 46 players, not counting practice squads. He ain't one. Now, what part about that don't you get?
What is the most valuable position in the sport of football? You guys know the sport pretty well.
Quarterback.
Thank you. Okay, so how can he not be on a list that features 18 receivers?
Yeah.
You spent your life, your career, you got paid to stop ultimately the quarterback. Yeah. Again, in front of you was a receiver, but the name of the game is really to stop the quarterback. So if the quarterback is hot, if he is reading ahead of your eyes, he can just beat you consistently. Like there's nothing you do, especially if he has time. But again, you can't tell me there are 18 receivers in this league more valuable than Dak is as a quarterback in this league.
Yeah.
Well,
it's wrong.
I don't think Amari should have been on the list. I think if you're gonna put it on there, I think you should have put Dak on there.
Okay, good.
Because I'm just saying from a point of if you take two players from every team, that's 64 teams. I think Amari was ranked number 54 on the list. So he's the two best players on that team.
Yeah. Okay.
So to me, the best players on the team in Dallas is going to be Dak and
Zeke.
No.
Whatever
Yeah.
order.
No.
Yes.
Is Zeke. Hold on.
Who?
So you trying to tell me? No, we're not talking about value. When they say players, they say evaluating the player on ability, not value to the team. Dak ain't better than Tyron Smith.
Yes,
he ain't better than Zach Martin.
It's just because by virtue of his position.
No. See, you try to see again. He make it about value. No, it's best. Not the most valuable, the best.
Is he more
most
valuable
important.
than DeMarcus Lawrence?
No,
Yes.
Skip this.
DeMarcus Lawrence is number 30 on this
Skip.
list.
Yeah, Skip. The position is more valuable. But is he a better player? No.
Do you think Jerry Jones thinks that Dak is the 7th most valuable Dallas Cowboy? Because that's what this list is saying now.
If Jerry Jones thought Dak was the 5th most valuable player in the NFL, he'd have done got his $34 million and we'd be sitting at home.
No, Jerry's a smarter businessman than the Eagles are because they just try to validate their own pride. We traded up to get Carson Wentz, so we're going to show you. We're going to give him the most guaranteed money in all of pro football.
Should.
Really? Way to go. Good luck to you with that.
Good luck to you.
Yeah.
Because you got
I'm good because I've got rocket launch here. I got rocket fuel for Dak Prescott.
Let that sink in for a second. He was 31st.
Yep.
Okay, he got the most guaranteed money, got $75 million to sign. Your guy is about to get the exact same money, maybe more, and he can't make the list.
Well, who cares about the list? I care about who's going to win the Super Bowl first.
Your team, Skip, stop this now. You've been going back and forth with this for a quarter century now. Time out.
You said who's going to win the Super Bowl first?
Yeah.
Carson Wentz already has one, don't he?
Yeah, we got one.
He's got nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. He has
How
one,
many
right?
snaps did he play?
It doesn't matter. He has one.
he's got
You
a
are-
ring.
But
He
you
won 13.
said who's
Got
gonna win
a
the Super Bowl
pubic
first?
zirconia ring.
You said who's gonna win the Super Bowl
But you
first?
skip.
Who has Super Bowl ring?
You actually think.
Well, he did nothing.
He would have.
Played no snaps.
He would have won the
He's
Super
never played in the
Bowl.
playoffs
Skip.
before. Oh, stop.
Come on, let's be real.
He would not have won that.
That-
Super
Oh,
Bowl.
yeah, he would.
that-
Walk it to him.
Oh, he would have.
Oh,
come
walk
on.
it to him.
Yeah.
Come on.
Nick Foles was the magic man. Did you see what he did to Jenny's Vikings the Sunday or 2 Sundays before?
Who they had Case Keenum.
Yeah.
Case Keenum, who had the flukiest season in NFL
Did he
history.
have the flukiest game in the Minnesota Miracle game?
Oh, yeah, that was fluky.
I don't
Yeah.
think so.
Good day.
The guy ducked his head, and the guy and Stephon Diggs went around him.
Okay.
Okay.
Speaking of blind experts, how did everybody
Blind.
Yeah. How did everybody miss what happened the last 10 games of last football season? Because the essence of this list, the criteria is we're going to predict greatness for this year. We're going to rank, this is the order of players, how great they could be, again, at different positions. So you got apples, oranges, pears, bananas, and peaches
Yeah.
on this list,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So we're going to rank who showed you coming off last year that they could be even greater next year.
Yes.
What did Dak Prescott do over the last 10 games? His team went 8-2 because he finally got a legit, valid number one receiver. And he took off. And I'm with you. Does Amari belong? Is he a top? No. But he's got connection. He's got rapport. He's got chemistry with Dak. They love each other, and they connected right away in ways Dak never connected with Dez Bryant.
But Skip, can you ask me, if you can just answer me this? Why is it that when they got Amari Cooper, Zeke led the league in rushing, and he was 22 rushes clear of every other running back in the NFL, even though he missed a game? Now, that's with the addition of Amari Cooper.
They were a really good offense, which is how they won 8 out of 10 games
They were-
in a playoff
They
game.
were a really good running team.
No, they were a really good throwing team because over the last 10 games, who led the NFL in completions? Who led?
Who led the
Dak
league in rushing?
Prescott.
Who led the league in
the,
rushing?
The guy he says can't throw. He says he can't throw. He led the NFL
Throw.
in completions over a 10-game span. How can you defend yourself on that?
This is what happens. When you got to, okay, Amari helped. But what happens is that we got to make a decision. You see, the thing was that they don't fear Dak like they do Zeke, so they're willing to drop that safety down to shut the run off.
Maybe they're starting to wise up this year. Maybe they will see it the other way.
That safety coming down.
Okay.
If you cannot stop the Cowboys' rushing attack, you can't beat them. You can't beat them, Skip.
Who led the NFL in catchable passes, says Pro Football Focus, over the last 10 games last year? Dak Prescott. Who was third in air distance, the distance the pass traveled over the last 10 games? It was Dak Prescott. So you say Dak and dunk, and he's going bombs away, and you will not accept it.
I
the
won't.
stats
And
scream wrong again,
How
Shannon.
about this stat? That Dak Prescott had the lowest completion percentage throwing in the tight windows. What are we going to do about that?
Over what? Over the whole year?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm just talking about once he got a number one.
Hold on.
Number one receiver.
So we
took off.
Okay.
Rocket launch.
Well, I just want to take Pat Mahomes. I just want to take his 12 best games. I'm not going to do
I
the game.
don't care about Pat Mahomes. He's way overrated at, what is he, like
Whoa.
You ought to be ashamed
Whoa,
of
you
yourself.
should stop.
You ought to be ashamed
Stop
of yourself.
that. Whoa.
What's he
Whoa.
done?
What has he
Did he be
done?
a one-year wonder under Andy
Well,
Reid?
the only thing we wonder when Dak going to be able to play. That's what we wondering.
You remember the quote that was in The Athletic about that offense?
You know
Andy
what?
Reid? What's his name back in Philadelphia thinks he should be in the Hall of Fame. Donovan.
You know what, Skip? I love how you do a very good job. You had a great memory. I love how you remember what they said in The Athletic about my homeboy. But what did they say about Dak in The Athletic? Everything must be perfect. Mom must bake an apple pie, set it outside the window. It
Told you what
smells.
they said.
It's a nice autumn afternoon. Everything must be perfect for your guy to succeed.
No,
my
I told
homeboy don't need everything to be
The
perfect.
first quote they used in that ranking was, he just might have a big enough year that you'll be thinking about him as a number one next year.
You know, we talking about next year. We talking about this year right now. We talking about right now.
Right now.
saying.
100 people. He can't get on the most wanted. Oh, nice self.
Antonio.
That's bad. Skip, yeah, you know you bad.
know what?
When you so bad you can't get on the top 100, you really bad, Skip.
You are becoming
Harsh.
#1 on the most wanted list in Cowboy Nation.
You are. And everyone, even in your hometown, is.
I mean, but
on
hold
you.
on, boy. He has on Dallas Cowboys colors.
Told you, I started the
We
show.
did.
You look
saying,
good in
here
the
we
Dallas
go.
Cowboys
I
colors.
You know
I
what?
have no cho- I have
Nah,
no
Wear
you got a
that
choice.
every day.
Every day.
Our ratings would go through the roof if you wore
Autumn
that
picked
every
this out.
day.
As a matter of
So
fact,
she's to blame now?
Autumn picked this out.
Nah, you
Maybe
look,
she's a Cowboys
you look
fan
good
as
in them
well.
Cowboys colors.
Autumn know anything about
All right, you're going to come back later, Antonio. Thanks for joining us. We needed that take. But next up, why doesn't Tom Brady get superstar treatment? He should. You think he deserves it, right? We'll go there next.
No mercy.
In a promo for an upcoming episode of HBO's The Shop, Uninterrupted, Rob Gronkowski said that no one gets treated like a superstar in the Patriots organization. When asked if that also applied to Tom Brady, Gronk answered, not even Brady. So Shannon, what do you make of Gronk's comments?
Skip, we've heard a lot of players say this before, but to hear it come from Gronk, Skip, I believe once it's all said and done, Gronk will be the second greatest Patriot player ever drafted. To hear him say that, because if you think about Tom, the only place Tom does not get superstar treatment is at work. Now, obviously, at home, he doesn't expect to get superstar treatment. His wife rides and, oh, Tommy, you don't expect that at home. But everywhere.
She's arguably a bigger star than he is.
Well, international, she absolutely is. But Skip, everywhere Tom Brady goes, praise is heaped upon him. He goes to the Derby, he goes to the Met Gala, he goes to all these functions. Is Mr. Brady this, Mr. Brady that? And he goes to work. Tommy, get your ass over here. Run that play again.
I don't think it's Tommy. I think it's Tom or just Brady.
Yeah. He's like, get your ass over here and run this play again. Skip, this is baffling to me. And people are, and am I surprised? I'm very surprised. Is Tom okay with it? I don't believe he's okay with it, but I believe he's accepted the fact because it comes along with winning. You see, Skip, Skip, we say this, winning is a great deodorant for a lot of things. Players, coaches will accept a lot if you win.
Yep.
It's hard. The whole thing about it being a special is to get treatment, Skip. You know, on the little scale we get, the call, get a little bump in the, line, okay, we'll see what we can do for you, Mr. Sharpe. Get a special table, all that. I know Skip, well, Skip already got, Mr. Bayless already has that table. I was like, all right, I'll come next week. He'd already.
Are we gonna fight for it?
True.
But anyway, Skip, it's just, I would be upset. I got all this, and at my job, but I can't even get a personal parking spot at the job. I don't get anything. So what benefit do I get?
You don't have a parking spot?
No.
I think he's got a parking spot.
You know what?
I definitely don't have a
gotta get So it might be old Black Range back to your spot tomorrow.
Front row.
Yeah, there could
You park too far down.
I get a spot only because I get here at 4 o'clock, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Fine.
Everybody
fair.
gets a spot because nobody's
Yeah,
in.
true. I'm going to pretend it's my own.
So I think Shannon Sharpe just paid Tom Brady a compliment. I think.
Yeah.
And it could
that
be a
what it was?
first.
So, yeah, he
was
should.
it?
Right?
Yeah, he should get some perks.
I think that Shannon Sharpe might be actually seeing the light on Tom Brady. Do you understand that Tom Brady is now going into his 20th football season, and I'm going to say for about 18 of those years, he has allowed Bill Belichick to get away with treating him like just another player.
Yeah.
Because I don't think any quarterback, maybe in the history of this league, would have over that long an expanse of time after that many Super Bowls allowed the head coach to treat him the way Belichick continues to this day to treat Tom Brady.
It might be a marriage they still together for the sake of the kids.
Okay.
And the kids happen to be Super Bowls.
They are. They got
Those are the kids, Skip, baby.
Lot of kids. You can't
we just
separate.
together for the kids.
Can't
Once the kids get grown,
Yeah.
which they start winning, somebody gonna be gone.
So true.
they got 9 kids. 6 of them are really good
Yeah,
kids.
exactly.
3 of them are they're okay kids, but
Yeah.
they're not
Stay together.
achievers.
Right,
They didn't-
exactly.
right, okay. So the point is that Tom Brady, for 20 years, has allowed Mr. Kraft, as in Robert Kraft, to get away with paying him far less than what he is worth on the open market, because Tom Brady gets it and knows that letting Belichick do that and Kraft do that is not just good for the football team, it's great for the football team
Right.
because it actually is the foundation of the football team. The ability of the coach to go coach the quarterback just as hard as he coaches the backup tight end is essential to a locker room that just stays like this, where the presiding, prevailing voice belongs to that guy, Belichick.
absolutely.
So there's never a clash. There's never a public or private clash where Tom Brady says, what are you talking about in front of the team?
Right.
They never see the quarterback cross the coach,
Right.
question the coach. Maybe he does behind very closed doors in a private meeting, but not in front of the team.
Right.
Because I think Tom Brady was taught by his father, Tom, he's actually senior, that look, the coach prevails. He
Right.
has the last word,
Right.
and he's the ultimate authority
Right.
figure. And I think Tom, at age 42, is still looking up to the coach saying, yeah, I get it. I have to do it his way to a point. When I'm actually running the play, I do it my way.
Right.
I get to call the audible. I get to pick the open receiver.
Right.
But in the big picture, in the big scheme, he runs the football team because I know that's the only way we're going to win and get back to more Super Bowls, right?
Skip, but I've in all my years, I played 14 years, and John was obviously the best quarterback I played with, superstar quarterback.
John Elway.
John Elway. And I never heard a coach, even Dan, they didn't not
Dan Reed.
Dan Reed.
Yeah.
Not in front of the team.
Yeah.
Now, I'm sure there were discussions behind closed doors. Absolutely. Mike Shanahan. I'm sure there were discussions behind closed doors. But a quarterback like that you would chew him out in front, never. I've never heard a coach chew out a player of that caliber in front of the team. Never.
What has Chad Johnson told us on this show, that he was then Chad Ochocinco.
Yes.
His first camp day, they went in for a film session, and the first film came on was the playoff loss. I think it was they had lost to the Jets the year before. And Belichick throws that tape right on for the first team meeting and just tears apart Tom Brady in front of the team. Just to send a message like, he's just another guy to me.
Skip, and
We're starting over.
Man, there's nothing like, Skip, when they put that tape on, and it's like, 84, what are you thinking on this play? Everybody watching.
Yep.
Bro, you couldn't, can you imagine Tom Brady? Tom Brady, like, hold on, I got all these MVPs. I got Super Bowl rings. Are you doing this in front of?
That's like what
A
drives
Skip,
them,
a
man.
lot of people, a lot of players couldn't handle that. Not that accomplished. Now, you're trying to build your way up through the ranks, you will tolerate, you'll stomach a lot of things. But once you reach a certain level, I think, I like a lot about Tom Brady. But I think the thing is one of the things that I love more is that he's coachable. Everybody say they want to be I want to be coached. Really? Do you really want to be coached? Or do you want to be coddled? Because those are two different things.
Yep.
Coach Belichick still coaches Tom Brady. We might not like, you coach him like that, but Coach says, look at the results I've gotten. You know, Secretariat, I think I could have run the Derby on Secretariat's back. Ron Turcotte had that luxury.
He did.
But I do believe I could have run
You know
on
what? I don't think you're exaggerating. I
Big
think
Rick.
you would have gotten home first.
What a sight that
Yep.
would have been.
I might have been a little heavy. Secretary, but I got to get there first because I got to get your ass off my back. But anyway, Skip, that's unbelievable. Can you imagine that, Skip?
Do you know what Aaron Rodgers would have done 10 years
Oh,
ago?
my
10
goodness.
years ago to Bill Belichick? I'm out.
You think so?
It's either him or me. He'd march up to Daddy's office. Him or me? Which one is it, Mr. Kraft?
And Mr. Kraft's like, well, you already got 5 Super Bowls in your first 6 years. All right, Coach, back off him.
Remember all the drama, too? Remember when his trainer was trying to travel and they
But
kept-
that was one of the things, Skip. He's like,
You
no,
know,
I'm not
it
making no
reminded
special
me.
concessions. You know what?
No
As a
special
matter of
treatment.
fact, we're going to revoke your access.
That was
Because
a
that
big
was
deal.
because no one else. I think a lot of this has to do with Coach Belichick says that if I let this slide with him, then somebody else was going to come with something else and want to get that slide there. And then the next thing you know, we got to slip and slide all over the place. So he's like, okay, we got one set of rules.
Yep.
This is the time that we arrive. Tom, you don't get to arrive 5 minutes late.
Nope.
This is it. We got meeting. We got practice. We got this.
So you're acknowledging the unsung hero to all the Patriots dynasty is number 12, not that guy with
Yeah.
the hoodie on, right?
You gave some good Tom
Yeah,
Brady
you
love
did.
today. I'm going to remember
Love.
this. I
But-
like the coach.
Okay, if Eddie Jackson fired Coach Belichick's Michael. Yeah,
as well.
he the one that everybody coming to see.
I'm going to
Who's
remember this.
Brady?
Skip.
Nah, he ain't Tito. Jermaine.
We're moving on.
Nah, he Marlon.
Ezekiel Zeke saying all the right things in the interest of a big contract. Antonio Cromartie back with us to tell us what he thinks next.
No mercy.
How about this? Former Ohio State Buckeye Ezekiel Elliott's holdout continues as he negotiates to be the highest paid running back in the NFL. In an interview with Maxim from last month, Zeke acknowledged that he can't control where he will play his entire career, but if it were up to him, he'd stay put in Dallas. Zeke said, quote, "I love playing for the Dallas Cowboys. I love the organization, my teammates. I do want to be a Cowboy for the rest of my life, and hopefully that's a possibility. But even Emmitt Smith, the greatest running back ever, ended up going to play a couple of years for another organization. So it's just the nature of the game, but I want to be a Dallas Cowboy for as long as I can." Antonio, when does Zeke sign with the Cowboys?
I think what Jerry Jones always says, all deals get done around deadline, right? So the deadline is next Tuesday. So I'm looking for next Tuesday for the deal to be done.
Okay.
That's what I'm looking for.
Okay. And what about Dak? Pre-game one?
Hey, worry about
Dak?
Huh?
Maybe week 8, week 9,
By the way,
somewhere down the line.
just for the record, Andrew Luck made $122 million through his career. He's now quote unquote retired. Dak Prescott so far has made $2.7 million, just for the record. So,
That's fine.
yeah.
Yeah, that's fine.
The draft, a
That's
lot of
just
that has
what-
to do where he was drafted.
Thank you.
I got it, but just
He was
value
a fourth
for
round,
value.
That was a fourth-round draft pick,
He
right?
was, yeah.
Okay, so I'm like this. The deadline for Zeke is on next Tuesday. So I think he's going to get a deal done.
Okay.
I don't think he want to miss any games. That's the biggest thing. At the end of the day, he'll still have 5 years for his rights. You have this year if he sits
do?
out, and then 4 more years after that.
Okay.
So
you
deal
do
gets
not
done.
think he has it in him. He doesn't have the makeup to start missing real games. You don't think
No, you can't miss. He's already lost over almost $1.5 million already.
We're going to waive that. We ain't worried about that.
Yeah.
They ain't gonna waive it.
I'll tell you what, Skip, let me tell you when the holdout's going to end, when he becomes the highest paid. So when y'all want to do that? Y'all want to do it tomorrow? You want to do it Monday, Tuesday, Friday? Whatever you want to do.
ready?
Make me the highest paid. Now, Skip, I set out for a reason. I didn't want, you made me do this. I hate that it came to this. We could have handled this like men. Go into a room, Jerry, I want to be the highest paid. Give me $1 more than Todd Gurley. Because, see, Skip, this is not only about Zeke. This is about Alvin Kamara. This is about Saquon Barkley. This is about Christian McCaffrey. This is about these other guys. Because if Zeke allowed them to stagnate the market here, now the cap's going to continue to go up. In 2 years from now, the cap will be, up another $20 million, $30 million. But if Zeke allowed them to stagnate the market here, then the other guys, they're going to say, well, this is what Zeke did. No, you can't do that. You got to keep building. That's what quarterbacks do. That's what every position do. Keep building. Keep building. Don't let Jerry do this to you, Zeke. Get your money. Make him the highest paid.
$1 more what? Average salary per year or bonus
I want
or
$1.
guaranteed?
I want $1 more. What Gurley got $21 million. I need $21 million and $1 more average than what he got.
Upfront signing bonus.
Yep.
That's what you're talking about.
Yep.
Not long-term guaranteed.
Yeah, I want $1. No.
Done.
Yeah.
Done. Let's go now. I'm done. I'm ready to go.
Yeah.
Zeke, come on in.
Too late.
late.
Change my mind. I want 10% more. I want 10% more signing bonus.
Really?
So I want $23 million at the time of signing, plus my base salary this year.
I am with Antonio Cromartie. This will get done next week. It will start. It will really heat up on Labor Day. It's a good day to really go to work, right?
Are we working?
Because we're going to work. Yeah. You better be here. Better get up. Yeah. And then they'll crank through this, and they'll get closer and closer. And that night, finally, they'll shake hands and say, that's good, we got it done, and they will announce it on Tuesday. He will be at practice on Tuesday getting ready for the following Sunday against the
Ain't
New
no
York
practice
football.
Tuesday.
Huh?
Ain't no practice.
Well, they might just speed up the,
They
for
might,
him.
they might have a walkthrough on Labor Day.
Yeah, yeah. I think
Now, they
for
out of
his
town on
sake.
Labor Day.
Yeah.
No, you might have a walkthrough because the guy's going to be out of town. You know, Labor
Yeah.
Day is the last chance you
I
can get a
know.
chance
That's
to
kind
party.
of the last one.
The last
me
one.
about
I got it.
That's your last
And then,
vacation.
my best guess is that on Thursday they will announce that Dak got his money and that he is signed.
Where they getting all this money from?
Huh? They got plenty. They got a whole cap full of money.
I
They're
don't-
good.
I don't see Dak I don't see that contract getting done on
No.
not before the week of the game.
Yeah,
No.
I do.
No.
I do.
Poor Byron Jones,
No.
don't even nobody mention him. Byron Jones is like, hey, y'all need to treat me like trash.
Be okay.
Oh, he gonna be okay.
Be okay.
You hear that, Byron? Be okay. You gonna be okay.
Yeah, the one guy who will be okay is Amari because he makes $13.9 million this coming year.
Yeah, oh, yeah,
He's
yeah.
good for a while.
Oh, yeah.
You don't want to let him slip into free agency,
Oh,
but
He's waiting. He's waiting on Julio.
Yeah.
He's trying to wait on the guy AJ Green.
yep.
So top 5, when these guys sign, the top 5 is not going to be the same. So he's trying to wait. Okay, you want to make me top 5? I'll be number 3. I want to be right there with 8 because Odell, AB, Julio looking to go to the front of the ladder. I can tell you, he's looking to go to the front of the line.
I'm good to go. My team is looking to go to the front of the line when it comes to this year's Super Bowl. And if those 2 contracts drop boom, boom, week before game 1, can you imagine the momentum Jerry will create in that locker room going into week 1? It will be off the chart.
I don't see it.
Yeah.
The momentum's already be there, no matter who's there.
Yeah. This
Next
team's-
man up.
Eagles say we better shut that momentum down.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Really?
Eagles. Oh yeah.
Huh?
Oh
Eagles-
yeah.
Eagles
Oh,
got
walking
their
towards.
hands full. They
He got a deep threat
Yeah.
now.
Eagles got to deal with Case Keenum week 1 at home. You got this. Tell me you got this.
Case Keenum was on the team that I played for 12 years last year.
Yeah.
I know what he's gonna do.
Yeah, they were terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that was terrible. What was he?
He was pretty good. He's a gamer. He's a fighter. Yeah.
All I know, he's a 6-month-old, Skip.
Yeah.
He gonna wet the bed.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll see. That's pretty mean.
That's better than pretty truthful.
Yeah, he's won
Oh,
a
my
bunch of
goodness.
games in this league as Case Keenum.
You told me he was 2 games under 500.
Yeah, but he's won 26 football games. That's pretty good. And he beat
Yeah,
Drew
they-
Brees with the Minnesota Miracle. He's pretty good. Yep,
Skip.
they got this.
And
can
they said
always
it was,
have that.
It was the flukiest season in the 99-year history.
Says one guy.
No, bunch of guys.
Okay. No, that was a one
But
guy.
he hasn't been able to replicate that before or since that magical
Okay.
season.
Shannon, you're in trouble.
Why am I in trouble? At the Eagles.
Zeke, Dak, Super Bowl. Here we go.
Walk it to him. Jordan Howard, D-Jack, Alshon,
Yeah, you
Ertz,
loaded.
Goddard,
Loaded. I
Jason
agree.
Peters, Kelsey.
Yep.
Ooh, Lane Johnson.
Deer, headlights.
Oh, don't forget about they got D. Sproles.
Oh,
back,
yeah.
huh?
Fletcher Cox, Malik Jackson,
Yeah.
Barrett,
Michael
Graham,
Can you imagine?
Darby's back,
Can you imagine the pressure on that poor Carson
Zeke.
Wentz?
Malcolm Jenkins,
I don't see
holding
no
that thing down.
The most guaranteed money.
The arm of justice back
Ain't no
there.
pressure.
You don't think he's feeling it?
No.
How do you
Why? You
replace
have
that?
weapons. Why would I have pressure? There's weapons all
Just
around.
get the
me.
ball, throw the ball. Hey, take your 5, no hitch,
Yeah.
drop it off 42 and 4.
Yeah.
42 yards deep, 4 yards from the sideline. Let D-Jack run up under that thing.
Never trust it when I read that a young quarterback had an awakening in the offseason. You know, it's like, really? You needed an awakening
But
already?
I want you to have an awakening when
Yeah.
you realize that Dak Prescott ain't it.
Yeah.
Hey, Skip, every time somebody say Cowboys going to the Super Bowl, I let Magic Johnson.
That's what you
I saw the meme.
That's what you do.
That's how I am, Skip. Every time they do it, Skip, I'd be shaking like Magic Johnson.
Okay.
You know, Magic Johnson. Magic, how y'all looking next year?
Do it one more time for us. All right.
Maybe we should get Magic to come in and replace you.
No.
Not that.
Oh, Magic. Now you know Magic. How Magic is about the job now. He say he'll do the job. That don't mean he gonna show up every day.
Might be solo a couple times. Antonio, good to have you. We'll
Thank
see you
you.
back here tomorrow. Tom Brady did weigh in on Andrew Luck's set of retirement
Did he?
in a very Brady way. We'll discuss next.
No mercy.
Now, players are still reacting to the retirement of Andrew Luck over the weekend. And yesterday, Tom Brady defended Luck's decision to retire early and complimented him on a great career. Take a listen.
It's his life. Everyone has the right to choose what they want to do. He had a great career, and he was a great player. Everybody wishes, they could be healthy all the time. It's a contact sport, and he's certainly had his fair share of injuries. So, guys retire at different times.
We're now joined by Tom Brady's #1 fan,
Yep.
Rob Parker.
That's Skip Bayless.
Oh, but
Skip,
Skip.
I know you were, you didn't want anybody to get hurt, but you looked at this as an opportunity for Tom Brady, right? In the AFC?
It's my turn.
Either way,
Go ahead.
Rob,
Go
I'm
ahead.
glad you're here, but I do want to start with
Thank
Skip on
you.
this one. What do Brady's quotes tell you?
I loved what Tom Brady said because he spoke without passion. It was dispassionate, and it was without sympathy. He just basically laid it on the line. We didn't hear all the quotes, but it goes on into explaining just what this is. It's a tough game that you played. And that season is a long, hard, he called it a marathon of a grind. And it's both physical and emotional because there are many ups and many downs.
Right.
And lots of times there feel like there are more downs than ups, right?
Yes.
There are days you walk back into that locker room and you feel like it's devastation, like it's over. And you have to suck it up and play through it and fight through it. And this is what I don't understand. I think there's a part of Tom Brady that sits back and says, okay, so he just finally said, I just can't do this anymore, both physically and emotionally. I just can't do it. Tom's fine with that. He's seen a whole lot of players come and go. But here's a Tom Brady who's 42 years of age, and he's hearing Aaron Rodgers say, you know, we should feel sorry for Andrew Luck. We should celebrate him. But nobody celebrates the fact that Brady looks, to me, better than ever at age 42. He says he's healthier than he's ever been at age 42. He says he's as excited as he's ever been to play football at age 42. Yet nobody talks about it. Nobody's amazed by it. They're just numb to it. And most people, including you two, are just sick and tired of Tom Brady and the Patriots winning.
You know what? But let me tell you what they did do. People were so appalled. They were so upset that Tom Brady got injured, they changed the rules. They changed the rules for Tom Brady.
Why didn't the rules save Andrew Luck from himself?
Skip, that's my point. Tom Brady has never taken the punishment in the pocket that Andrew Luck played. Now, once he broke the line of scrimmage, Andrew Luck was on his own. And he thought he could run over linebackers, he could run through defensive linemen.
He did.
And he was sadly mistaken.
He was.
And it took its toll on his body.
Yep.
It was an accumulation. It was a short accumulation. That's why I'm surprised Cam is last, because Cam has taken these kinds of shots.
Just remember, Andrew Luck in his first 5 years in this league was third in the league in turnovers.
Yes.
So it was both getting beat up and losing the football.
Exactly.
But
Go ahead.
Yeah. This was like typical Tom Brady. Captain Obvious. He's lame. You know, he just lost trying to get the trademark to be Tom Terrific. It should have been, he should have filed for Tom Terrible. Because when it comes to because when it comes to this, Tom Terrible, when it comes to talking about the things in the NFL, he's a zero. Shannon, a zero. He's the same guy who said he didn't know that the kneeling was going on. He's totally oblivious to that. Skip, do you remember that? Even though some players on his own team had knelt down. So he said he didn't know what was going on. Here, there's no compassion. There should be a brotherhood for quarterbacks. The whole notion, you don't have to give him a parade or tell him he's the greatest quarterback ever, but a 29-year-old with so much talent who's forced to leave the game, Tom has nothing to say.
He's not forced to. He chose
to
leave
but because he can't do it anymore. But Tom doesn't say anything other than, well, you know, everybody has the right to do what they want. Well, thank you. We know that. Yeah. That's your answer to why a guy quits at 29 years old?
You're talking about a cold-blooded killer in a football
No,
contest.
just a guy who's so wrapped up in himself, and even later on.
He's wrapped up in winning Super Bowls.
Wrapped up in himself. Even later on in that quote you're talking about, he starts talking about him and his support system and his trainer and all that.
Yep.
Nobody wants to hear that.
Okay.
All you have to do is talk about for 1 minute your contemporary, a guy who is forced out of the game because he's been beat up and has all these injuries. All Tom Brady has to say is, man, what a tough game this is. I've been fortunate to survive, but this is what most guys go through, and I feel for him. I wish that this guy could still play.
He's not going to lie.
I
don't
love
think
competing
he feels
against him.
No.
This is a guy who was in my way in the AFC who's now not there.
What happened
he doesn't
both times Andrew
that.
Luck ran into Brady and Belichick?
Well, but it's still the idea that it's competition, though.
He stunk it up. He played his worst playoff game, and he was 4-4 in the playoffs at Foxborough on the night of Deflategate. And all the attention went on to, was Tom Brady cheating when with legally inflated footballs in the second half, Brady just threw a party on them. He was extraordinary because he had an extraordinary run. And then he went and beat Seattle in the Super Bowl, but nobody noticed Andrew Luck was awful in that game.
Oh, he was terrible. Look, It could have been an underplayed football. Look, the Patriots could have played with a bowling ball. They were going to beat the Colts. They were just a better team. And once it started rolling in the playoffs, it gets out of hand.
45-7.
Yeah,
It's over.
It got out of hand in a hurry. Skip, Tom should knock on wood. He's been very fortunate. He's suffered one injury. It knocked him out for the entire season. But he hasn't had the ticky-tack, the nicky-knack injury, Skip, that keep him out for a game here or 2 games there.
Okay.
He's been very fortunate with that.
Is it possible that he's doing something no one will ever do again, which is play at a high level at age 42 at quarterback?
Would you say the Super Bowl was a high level? Did he play at a high level in the Super Bowl?
No,
I thought he was awful in the
No, he
Super
didn't
Bowl.
play at a high level, Skip. He made one throw. He didn't play at a high level, Skip.
He
was
26
bad.
completed 5 straight passes, and it was the game-winning
Why
drive.
didn't they give him the MVP, Skip?
I
Why?
sat right here the next day and said he deserved the MVP.
No, he didn't.
No, Skip.
Julian Edelman for
Skip,
catching balls in the first
I
half?
don't know if somebody will play till they're 42, but I believe guys will play better longer for the simple way the rules, the way the game is constructed. It's constructed to take care of the quarterback. You can't punish him. I talked to a lot of guys at the Hall, and they're like, yeah, we could have played 2 until we're 40s if we'd had those kinds of protections.
Okay, but he does get rid of the ball faster than anybody does. And he
Well, that's
has,
the dink and dunk. That's all he does
not
now.
dinking and dunking. He throws it down the field when necessary. But the point is, he and his trainer, Alex Guerrero, have found something they call pliability. He's eating avocado ice cream. And you guys mostly scoff and make fun of all of
Is
that.
that what it is, Skip, or is there something else that we might find out later? I'm asking.
Does he look like he's a product of something else?
I'm just
Does he look
asking
like?
you. I didn't.
By the way, he dropped about 15 pounds.
I'm asking you. I don't know. I'm not. Is it really avocado ice cream that makes the difference?
I don't know.
Is that-
Andrew Luck
Shannon,
having
you play
a
football. Is that what it is?
I don't eat
Takes care of
avocados.
himself.
Okay, so Andrew Luck
I don't.
decided to call it a day at 29, and nobody forced him to, and I'm knocking on wood for him. God bless him that he heals up, but nobody forced him out. It's a hard game. He made $122 million over 7 years. That's a lot of money to make for going 4-4 in the postseason and never quite living up to being either the next Elway or the next Peyton Manning.
But Skip,
Couldn't live
after
up.
So we're going to say the man's career is a bust after 7
I
years?
didn't say it's a bust, but it was a disappointment
No, I don't
given
think
his
so.
expectations,
Yeah,
if you call it.
True.
Right?
But Skip, 7 years in, he's 4-4 in the playoffs, had won a couple of division titles. He'd missed the season. Look, I don't know if we ever saw Andrew Luck at his maximum potential because he was hurt. Because when he came in the league, when he was totally healthy, they did a terrible job of surrounding him with protectors.
Absolutely.
His offensive line was terrible. And he took punishment, and when he broke out of the pocket, Skip, he didn't understand how to get down. He didn't know when the journey was over.
His mentality was as terrible as his offensive line.
Yes, and
But-
it wrecked his body. But Skip, for me, I don't think he was looking back like, you know what? I made $122 million. I'm good. He could have easily said, I got another 60 coming. I can stay on the roster this year.
I could act like
rehab,
Brady.
and no problem. But he said, you know what? I'm Andrew Luck. I built something. I don't want to do anything to distract from that. I'm good.
He has integrity because he could have easily done that, right?
Bob, $122 million is pretty. That'll buy a lot of integrity.
He earned that. You make it seem like he didn't do anything. He earned that money.
Now, I'm going to ask one question. We were talking about this on the radio. Was Franco Harris ahead of his time or knew something
Or running out of bounds.
about running out of bounds, Skip? He was criticized during, like he was always not trying to get an extra yard or two. But as I looked down, and it came up because of all the injuries and not being able to get out of bounds and doing the right thing. Was he just way ahead of his time, or you were covering football then?
I don't know. Emmitt Smith he extended his career running out of bounds like crazy.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, yeah, look, if you play this game, Skip, you're playing it tough. I ain't trying to be no heat. Look, there have been times that I need to get that yard, I'm going to dip my shoulder.
Right.
But there are going to be times that I'm going to know, hey, I'm going to throw that blink on, and get on up out of bounds.
Rob, good to have you today.
Always.
Always nice to see you. One of college football's all-time great coaches called Trevor Lawrence, the best college football quarterback ever.
Yeah,
The
that's
guys
what I mean.
agree. We'll tackle that next.
No mercy.
Clemson's starting quarterback Trevor Lawrence is building quite the resume. Lawrence capped off an impressive freshman year by throwing 3 touchdowns in a dominant win over Alabama in the college football playoff title game last season. And now the buzz is already getting louder for the Heisman candidate this year. Fox college football analyst and one of the game's all-time great coaches, Urban Meyer, called Lawrence the best quarterback in college football ever this past weekend when discussing Clemson's chances at a repeat. So, Shannon, do you agree that Trevor Lawrence is the GOAT?
Hell no. He is not even the best Clemson quarterback. Did Deshaun Watson not go to Clemson, Skip? Did he forget that Deshaun Watson won a Heisman Trophy, put up almost 1,000 yards against St. Nick's defense?
He did.
I can see if it's his junior year, Skip, he's got 2 or 3 of these national championships, he's got a Heisman Trophy, then I might look at it and say, Urban, you know what, you were on to something. Okay, yeah, he is. But Cam Newton, did he forget what Cam Newton did, Skip? 30 passing touchdowns, 20 rushing touchdowns, won a Heisman, undefeated.
And he also won a championship at Blinn Junior College, so that counts also to me.
Did Vince Young not play, Skip? Did we forget Vince Young might have had the greatest performance in the championship game in history?
And that was a one-year wonder thing that he just carried them to the championship.
But he was 30-2. The year before in the Rose Bowl, remember what he did in Michigan?
I do.
That was his coming out because I didn't really know who Vince Young was.
Yep.
And then he beat a loaded USC team. Matt Leinart, Reggie Bush, Lindell White was on the offense.
Loaded.
Brian Cushing, Clay Matthews Jr., and Ray Maluga. 2 of those guys went in the first round. Maluga was in the second round. 2 of those guys were first-round picks. 1 of those guys went in the second round. And Vince Young toppled that team.
Yep.
Look, Skip, the kid, he didn't start the entire season because the guy ended up transferring. But he came in and he had an unbelievable season, Skip. I'm not trying to diminish the guy, but to say the guy is already the greatest college quarterback, hell, the guy he coached down in Florida.
Yeah.
He's pretty good.
I mean, Skip, what am I missing?
I wish that Urban had a little more opportunity to go a little deeper into this and explain what is his criteria, what's his definition of greatest college quarterback ever, because clearly Trevor Lawrence is off to the greatest start ever, because how can you beat what he just, as a true freshman, now he didn't start until September 29th.
Right.
But once he got into the lineup and played the last, 11 starts, so he started 11 games, and as a true freshman, he was the star of the national championship game.
Yes.
Okay, so he's off to the races.
Yes.
Okay, what if he wins 2 more national championships? It's possible.
Okay.
And what if he wins the next 2 Heismans?
Okay.
Well, then I think we'd say game over, right?
No, Skip. If he does that, he's the greatest college player ever. Forget quarterback, player ever.
So he's on that arc already.
Yes.
And again, I don't know if Urban was projecting him into pro football, because the greatest projection I ever saw in college football was the quarterback you played with, John Elway.
Yeah.
When I watched him at Stanford, I said, that's it. But he was prototype.
Right.
What was John, 6'4"-ish?
Yeah, about 6'3.5", 6'4".
6'4", and 225-ish, right?
Yeah.
So Trevor Lawrence is 6'5", 220. So he projects big-time first overall pick in the NFL draft.
Yes.
So are we doing projection on college to pro?
Right.
Because you might be onto something.
Right.
Trevor Lawrence might just be the next
Right.
it guy, and because we've just gone through Little Baker and Little Kyler,
Right.
and they weren't prototype, right?
6'5".
Like Tom Brady is 6'4", so
Right.
he was up.
But if you just talk about one season, Skip, it's hard to say. But look at Cam's season. Tim Tebow had an unbelievable college career. Vince Young had an unbelievable. He only started.
By the way, our other guy, Matt Leinart, we got to throw him in the mix because remember, his team won 2 national championships. One was by vote, but one was in the game. And then he played
for a third.
Yeah. They played for a third and lost to the all-time greatest championship game performance in Vince Young.
Right.
Okay.
And
Matt also won a Heisman, obviously.
Now, if he goes out and like you said, he wins a couple of these things, but right now, I'm not putting him ahead of Deshaun. Did they not see what Deshaun did in championship games, Skip? Yeah. Did they? I'm talking about back to back.
So are we talking about achievement or potential?
Right.
Are we?
I'm with you, Skip. I wish they would have followed up. Urban, are you saying he's the best college quarterback ever now?
We're talking about just your eye test?
Right.
If it's eye test, you might be onto something.
I mean, you can't make that. I mean, after one, who thought Michael Jordan, after the shot, he's going to be the greatest college player, basketball player ever?
Remember, he stayed for 2 more years.
Yes, and he never got. So what happens, Skip, if he doesn't get back to the national championship game? Is he still the greatest college quarterback ever?
No, I don't think so.
No.
But I don't know what are your criteria? Are you projecting him to be a great pro quarterback?
Right.
Because when I watched John Elway at Stanford, I was like, whoa, this is the next guy. But guess what his college teams win? He
They weren't
started
very
3
good.
years. They go 6-5, 4-7, 5-6.
And he was
his
the number
last
one.
year.
He's the highest rated player ever graded by.
Ever graded, and could have played professional baseball for the New York Yankees.
Yeah. Did Peyton
Okay?
Manning play college? I just need to know. Or did he go
did.
straight from high school?
Okay, he struggled. He didn't have achievements because he couldn't beat Florida.
He didn't.
Right.
He didn't win a national championship.
Yeah.
But it's hard to say he wasn't a great college quarterback.
Yeah. Okay. No, he was obviously great. Are we doing achievements?
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So I just, like right now, I still got Deshaun Watson ranked ahead of him because Deshaun Watson has a championship and he played for another. He was, a couple of minutes away from being a two-time national champ. But what he did in that game, Trevor Lawrence was unbelievable. And that's not to take anything away. In the playoff games, he averaged almost 340 yards passing and had 6 touchdowns with no picks.
Yep.
But Deshaun Watson, next to Vince Young, that was the greatest championship game performance I had ever seen. And I go back watching a lot of them.
You know
All
what?
eyes are going to be on him.
Given the degree of difficulty against Nick Saban's defenses twice in a row, you cannot top what Deshaun did. I know he lost the first one,
Yeah.
but he won the second one.
Yeah.
Thanks to little Hunter Renfrow.
How about that guy?
You know about him?
I love his storyline. It's been fun to see as well.
Yeah.
There's some good potential there.
They took him in the third round with the Raiders? Third or fourth?
Was it 3 or 4? I don't know where he went, but I'm just
He's
loving
going
him on
to
Hard
play.
Knocks.
Yeah,
and Watching
yeah.
He
his
is going to contribute
He's been
immediately.
fun to see.
Tonight,
Clemson,
more Hard
Georgia
Knocks.
Tech. Yeah, we'll get to see them.
Yep.
They open Thursday. We'll get to see Trevor Lawrence back in action. And hey, I'm glad Urban's on our team this year.
Yep,
We're going to
me
hear some
too.
good stuff from him throughout the college football season. Tom Brady just took a big loss, but will it affect him this season? We will tell you next.
No mercy.
Time for our final topic of the day. Tom Brady may have to deal with losing his starting center. David Andrews is at risk of missing the entire season after being hospitalized while undergoing tests for blood clots in his lungs. Andrews started 57 games over the past 4 seasons, including the Patriots' last 3 Super Bowls. He was released from the hospital last night after the testing. So, Shannon, how big of a loss would this be for Brady and the Patriots?
Well, look, the center normally is responsible for all the line calls, but I don't think that'll affect Tom. Tom knows if need be, Tom could step in and make all the line calls and not miss a beat. The thing that you love most about the Patriots, Skip, is that they believe in their system. They believe they can plug a guy in and they won't miss a beat. The backup would be Ted Karras. He rotates, he plays guard, he plays a lot of different positions. They feel they won't miss a beat without Andrews, but this is a serious issue for this young man.
For most teams, this would be debilitating. But for this team, in Dante Scarnecchia, I trust. He's the best offensive line coach in pro football. He has saved this team repeatedly. He came back out of retirement to save Tom after that, which was 2015 when it got
against
so
the
bad
Broncos.
for him, and he did take a lot of punishment that year. And in this case, who was David Andrews? Like, he was undrafted out of Georgia, and Scar, as they call him, made something out of nothing there, and he made a whole lot of something. So you mentioned Ted Karras. He was a 6th-round draft pick in 2016. He comes from a lineage of pro football players, including his great uncle, Alex Karras, who was a great defensive tackle for the Lions, and then he segued into acting. I know him best from Blazing Saddles, Mongo.
Yep.
He was on Webster, right? Yeah.
That's what most people know him from, because until I didn't realize he was a football player until I started, as I got much older and started digging into his background. But he was a heck of a football player. He wasn't just a football. He was a heck of a football player.
He was really good, defensive tackle. But the point is, now maybe this kid's got some lineage in his bloodlines, and he says, I got to step in and do this. And I think they will be just fine going forward, but most teams would not be. This would be well, look what happened to my Cowboys, right? Without Travis.
Oh, well, no, hold on. He's not Travis Fredericks.
No?
No.
Well, no, he's not that. But
No.
Still
And they don't rely. We'll see. Well, I don't think they'll miss a beat. It might show up a little bit in the run game because they ran the ball a lot in the playoffs,
did.
Skip.
Yeah, just hope he's all right.
No mercy.
Thanks for listening to the Undisputed Podcast. I'm Jenny Taft. Join us again at the same time tomorrow morning, 9:30 Eastern. We'll see you then.
Fox Sports. One of one.